This is a production of Darn TV.
Uh-oh. I was
Already?
double. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
Hello.
Yeah. Episode 38, the Dirt Weekly Nodak Speedway Banquet Preview Talk.
Yeah.
Awards.
Yes.
Banquet Awards and Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Because you teased me with that Beatrice race and Marcus going down there, and I was ramped up for that.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the weather's so iffy. I think I sent in our group text that we are very sketchy about trying to go south after October 1st. The weather can be so like flip a quarter, what are you going to get type stuff. So.
But how gross is that for Marcus? You know, load up, take the gang. How far is that?
Well,
it's 12 hours.
Yeah. It's 750-mile area from Minot, so 700 for them. Yeah, it's a 12-hour trip. That's exactly what it was when I went, like to the minute.
I don't gauge stuff by miles. We always gauge by hours. Williston, 2 hours. Bismarck, an hour and a half.
How many hours of fun does it take to get to the
Estevan with
racetrack?
the border, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Boone, Iowa.
About a 2.5 around that one.
Boone, Iowa, 12. Just plan on 12.
So essentially that'd be like going to Boone and getting it rained out.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Both Boone and Beatrice are the same.
Yeah.
It might not be the same mileage, but they were the same hours of fun. So.
Hayes, Kansas, 14. Just plan 14.
Hayes is farther. Yeah.
And you were flirting with that a little bit.
Yeah, we flirted with it, but we didn't. We chose the
with
Stampede.
The rescheduling.
With the reschedule of the Stampede, it only made sense to stay here.
Yeah. Because of the weather and what Marcus and
Jim Clifford says it's hot in Arizona.
I believe you, Jim. It's still not bad here, but the forecast is changing. So for next week anyway.
We got a couple. We're going to talk about Banquet Awards tonight. We're not going to reveal who a lot of the award winners are. I mean, obviously we know the champion, we know the runner-up. Rookies of the year are pretty set in stone of who the rookies are in each class. But there's some who basically we'll get some talking points in the comments. Sportsmanship awards are awarded in every class. Who's your guys' ship award winners in each class? You race in the stock cars. You're a fan up in the stands. Who did you see? People listening at home, who did you guys see all summer long? And then most improved drivers from the beginning part of the year or from last year to this year. Whatever your own personal criteria is for a most improved driver, throw it out there.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll talk about that stuff as the show goes, and I put it in the comments here. Couple of the questions, so just reply underneath. We'll watch them, and I'll update what people say all night. Try to get some interaction going back and forth. Well,
I was going to throw in a little something. I kind of didn't prepare you for this, but even though Beatrice rained out and all that there, I was just going to go on record that I went up to the Lansford Snowmobile Drag Races.
Oh.
You want to spend a little moment on that? Now, I don't know all the classes, but what Lansford has and what they've had now for like 4 years, they got grass snowmobile drag racing. Now, I don't know how many people have got to ever see that, but it is something to see. It's just what it sounds like. It's snowmobiles drag racing on grass, and they do it on the golf course up there. The city's behind it. The Lansford Fire Department sponsors it, and it's a big deal, and they got food, and they've got adult beverages, and it's a good time. I've never missed one, and I don't intend to anytime soon, but nonetheless, now, I'm going to mess up. They got a bunch of classes. They got stock classes, and that, like our car racing, they've got engine sizes and whatnot. I'm going to go right to the final round because I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it. But Mark Weiskopf, which is Wayne's nephew.
Yep.
Wayne Johnson's nephew. Him and his dad, Mike Weiskopf, have been snowmobile drag racing for a long time. And golly, they got a fast snowmobile. Now, they were racing a 500-foot deal. Now, they didn't have lights set up or they didn't have timing set up or anything. They were kind of just going off of a visual who was winning at the end. But at the end of the day, they had a king of a grass, and everybody that was fast kept, whittling down to the last two. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the guy's name that he went up against. But nonetheless, Mark took it all, and he took it all by probably 3 or 4 sled lengths, which is an incredible amount at that speed. The other sled was by no means slow by any stretch of the imagination,
Jordan,
but they're fast.
Your mind bended me. Golf course, snowmobile racing.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound real turf friendly. Would the Minot Country Club, the Varden?
Well, no, they would not like that. I'm sure the grass is really green in that spot in the spring pretty quick, but as you can imagine, the sleds are made with cleats and paddles and studs and anything they can do to get traction. And for the record, they get significantly more traction on actual ice. They typically race on ice, but because the weather's still nice out, nothing's froze up yet. And somewhere down the course of the winter here, they'll race on ice, usually out at Mark Rowan's place out on 23. So, but the weather, albeit was cloudy, it was warm. I was out there for about 3 hours, and Chris Stuchscher was out there. I was able to see Beaujechamp, catch up with them a little bit, and of course watch some great snowmobile racing. Kerry Green and Kirk Borrud both won their classes that they had entered also, and these are people that certainly support our racing, and it was nice to go up and catch up on theirs. So
I wish I'd have known about
that
it.
It's really cool.
You should have previewed it last week.
Yeah, well, we had Beatrice, and we just had so many things going on. We didn't know we were going to get weathered out, and this deal can be cold, like you can imagine, and but it wasn't. It was cloudy, but it was warm, and pretty neat deal. So it'll be there again next year.
Was there any grass left on this strip?
Not around the starting area, but it wasn't too bad farther out. Again, the guys pick up the back of the sleds and they rev them up, to make sure everything's all freed up and ready to go, and just the different preparations they do to get the most out of their performance of their machines. And it was just again things we do in North Dakota for entertainment. That was pretty cool. They take it seriously.
They must not run very long, because my experience, I'm 20 years removed from any experience on a snowmobile.
On snowmobiles.
But the snow helps keep them cool, the snow up there. So they must just run them and then shut them off. That way they don't.
They do drive them back, but a lot of them are liquid cooled. But you're right. You're right. Even the air cooled stuff, and there was air cooled stuff there. They're just they're hustling it back.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's 500 feet down. Once they slow down, get turned around, it's probably 600-700 feet back. But they're not overdoing it. And you're right. A lot of times the snow will lubricate the high facts that the track rides on. And when they were jacking them up, I seen them hosing them down with WD-40 and stuff, making sure they were all ready to be nice and slippery for their race. So, so that's the only racing I believe that got in. You guys touched real quick on Beatrice there. They ended up weathering out both days, and as you touched Marcus.
Well, now you're firing off endorphins in my brain about this. So back way, even just barely tinkling my memory, there was snowmobile racing at Nodak during the winter time.
Yeah.
Snow's on the track.
Yeah, they did. They did oval race. I was not there. I remember the talk about it. Terry Thorpe would actually probably have pictures of that, but they did. They actually raced on the oval in the 70s.
Not big fan-friendly environment, obviously aluminum bench watching that.
Right.
Bring your blankets and snowsuits.
Yeah. You whatever you thought you were going to dress up for the Stampede, you would triple that for this, and then some. Yeah, that's right.
Sounds entertaining. I mean, Barry Braun, a handful of years ago, he did some snow sled racing in. Was it Ada, or was it Buffalo River, or was it Fargo? There was one of them tracks that they ran the sleds around.
Yeah.
Oval racing.
Glendon maybe or something, yeah.
Something down by Fargo. I don't think they do it anymore, but they did it.
As picky as you guys are about the tackiness and the deal with the dirt, how would you be with the snow?
Yeah. Well.
Water the snow. We need a little bit more moisture in turn two.
Well, I mean, it's a conversation, much like our game is. It's a conversation, and like I say, the harder and smoother the ice, the faster they go, because, I mean, they can just get all the claw they can into it. And with it being grass and dirt, there was a little bit of, I guess I'd call it track spin, but nonetheless, they had them hooked up, and they got turbos on these things, and they got all the power-producing stuff that they need. But, yeah, Mark's been king of the grass a few times, and I only see him annually, and yeah, it's fast. I don't know what it runs. If I was a guesser, I would say in that 500 feet, he was north of 100 miles an hour.
Oh,
that is moving.
It's moving with no safety gear.
You want to bring her in?
Oh, my kid. Well, I'll back up here.
Yeah, 100 miles an hour with no cage.
We'll just go on. Maybe it's a family emergency. We'll do the SIBO Motorsports show rundown. Is presented by SIBO Motorsports, specializes in high-performance parts and chassis repair. Call Ryan at 701-720-3889 today for all your hot rod and racing needs. Get in line. Give him a call. Make sure you have your race car done for next spring. Oh, he's back. There you go.
Sorry about that, guys.
If it was an emergency, I have a daughter as well.
Yeah, she forgot. I'm sorry. So that's okay. But you never know. Sorry about that. First time.
Well, I thought maybe it was one of them moments like earlier. Didn't we? Who did we bring into the show earlier this year? Brad King.
Yeah.
Brad King. We brought the squirrel in.
That was classic.
Yeah. Squirrel man. Hoofda.
But what about that? You got the Hans device, the belt on, the roll cage, the helmet. Well, you have a helmet with snowmobile, but the snowmobile going 100 miles an hour, it's like exposed to anything. You get a stick on you or something?
I made reference to that standing with the people I was. Because I mean, IMC, it keeps you, they're on top of the safety idea or whatever. And let's just, and I mean this kindly, the snowmobiles are a lot more relaxed. They're a lot more relaxed, probably, yeah.
But what safety stuff other than wearing a helmet?
How about a seatbelt? Are you held on at all?
I don't think you want to be held on.
Yeah, I would say, and some of them, these things wheelie off the line pretty good. I mean, and they get a little torque steer to them, if you will. I mean, they're leaning. Sometimes they're carrying the skis, and they're actually counter-leaning, trying to sweep it back into the middle. They have about 4 lanes, and you're able to choose between 2 on each side. So they have some width there. But no, they didn't have anything that contained them on it. But some of the seats were dipped down a little bit on how they sat on them. But most of them sat on them, with their legs back and leaned down, kind of like you would on a crotch rocket motorcycle. Same type of deal, and they're hanging on.
These guys are wired a little bit different than the rest. You gotta be.
Well, they're power jockeys, and a few of them. Well, and I tell you, there wasn't nothing. We were lined up all along the sides, and the only thing between us and them was sticks with a little string going across the top. So I ventured. I was leaning on the front of the pickup, and I ventured to go back by the fender just in case one of these things got away, because again, they were fast.
Nothing could go wrong.
Yeah. Nobody came through the fence, but there was some leaning to keep them in the fence, if you will. So
wow.
Do
you go to the winter one on the ice?
I have never been to that. The weather has chickened me out, and I had some other stuff planned on one of those deals. But I do want to. I keep telling Mark that I am gonna catch up on one of those, because I can only imagine how fast they are when they're all hooked up out of the hole. I mean, it's got to be just a rocket getting shot out of a slingshot. So, yeah. So again, pretty cool deal. Craig, you were touching on, they had some grass drags. Actually, where the drag strip is now, they had some of that back in the good old days too, in the winter time. So we have had some stuff. I remember out in Ruthville, they would have snowmobile grass drags. They also had motorcycles at this, but not very many. Most of them were motocross type bikes. But decades ago, when they were out at Ruthville, they would have street bikes that had knobby tires on them and stuff like that. And, of course, it would come down to the end of the fastest bike versus the fastest sled. And it was never a genuine contest, because the snowmobile never shifts. It's got clutching that just keeps picking up mile an hour, the clutching, the way they work. They're just wide open. They never lift, where a motorcycle would have a clutch and some transmission where there was some delay there in shifting. But, pretty neat stuff. And like I say, it's kind of the same people that watch us do our stuff, so we're all in this together.
I'll apologize. I missed it.
Yeah, and I didn't give you a heads up, so this was raw, guys.
We would have promoted
with a phone call. Should have promoted it next year, huh?
Next year.
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll definitely hit the winter one. We'll do a show or something. Yeah. Maybe we'll have Mark in here. Maybe Mark can sit in one of the chairs with us.
That could get big because, us motorheads right now, we're looking for just anything to grab onto.
Yeah. I'm hungry already. Yeah. It only took a couple weeks. So
my wife works at Somerset Assisted Living, and, man, I'm watching two guys in a wheelchair going down the hallway, and I'm trying to bet on who's going to hit the corner first.
Keep her off the walls. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You want to get into our fantasy NASCAR league or what?
I need something.
Oh.
I'm dominating right now, so let's just keep you out of it.
No spoilers. Oh, shoot.
To the Nodak Speedway Banquet. I kind of have the order of events. I believe I can release the order of events because it's part of the Nodak Speedway Banquet. I guess I didn't clarify that last night, but 5 o'clock is social, 5 to about 5:55-ish, and then they're going to call everybody to the table. 6 o'clock we'll start eating. Silent auction items will be set up for the social, and for while we're eating, people can go up and bid, do some stuff. They were going through the list last night, quite a few silent auction items, 20 plus or so, 20 to 30 plus. There was a lot that they were talking about on silent auction, so get your season pass there, get your season pit pass, able to be purchased on the silent auction.
You can get that early too, okay?
Yep.
Probably buying your reserved parking spot.
No, they don't do that until the car show.
The April show?
The April car show. Just because you don't want to mix, this is the wrap-up of 23 type stuff, but you can get season passes for next year. It's just like a little money boost to put in the account for the off-season.
Good Christmas ideas.
That's what we go for. And if you're unable to make it to the banquet, I believe you can call the race phone, 822-7223, 701 in front of it, 822-RACE. Right. You can call that and get your season passes for Christmas and that such.
Yeah. Those are good ideas.
And you talked the last time we were together that the championship cars are invited to be there.
Yes, they are invited. I've learned, though, Adam is a champion, right?
He is.
And I seen a Snapchat with his car taken apart.
Well, you talked about it getting cut apart at the Stampede.
Unfortunately, Adams won't be there.
You might have I haven't got caught up with him at all this week. I've been working on my own shop. But, I need to. So, he probably already apart.
But
and that's what I was thinking. That I imagine Travis has probably got all the wheels off of it.
Unfortunately, Travis Hagen and the gang are going to be at the UND Minnesota Gophers hockey weekend in Grand Forks this weekend.
We won't have Travis and Kenzie in the house?
No, they will be over there spending family time. I believe the whole family's going over. The Hagens, I don't know how many on Kenzie's side, but I heard it's a big group of them going over that direction.
So another family outing. He went to the Kansas City Chiefs Vikings. Bet wrong on that with the Vikings. Who's he going for in this hockey game?
No, it's UND all the way, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But yes, championship cars are invited to attend. You may see some of the championship cars there. Can't tell you exactly who at this point. Jesse Long wanted to know if Brandon is grilling. No, Brandon is not grilling.
That's a legit question.
Yeah.
That
is a good question.
It's being catered by Homesteaders. Dean at Homesteaders hooked them up with a catering. I'm taking a step back, guys. I want to relax. I'm going to get a chair at a table, and I'm just going to chill while I do the Hall of Fame stuff. I'm going to introduce all you Hall of Famers, and then when that's over with, I'm going to go back and sit down. And enjoy the.
Well, there's a fair question. I was wondering the same. So I should
Our steak sandwiches on the menu.
They are not.
Yeah.
They are not. Did you come get a steak sandwich at all?
No. Well, you were doing that in Dakota Speedway, I think. You said
but I did it at the banquet the last 3 years, I believe.
Yeah. Have you been to the banquet?
Not recently. I think the last time I was there, McFall and Lindsay.
Yeah, I don't think I cooked that year.
Yeah.
No grilling by Brandon. So
Dean does a good job.
Yep. So. Food will be great. Dean does a great job.
Yep.
It's a stress reliever off everybody.
Yeah.
It weighed on me quite a bit trying to manage the banquet and cook, and I enjoyed it a ton. I enjoyed it a ton. I loved cooking for the whole group there, and
so you cooked while you were the president?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see where that would be a little bit hectic.
And then it was a quick
micromanaging from the grill. Hey, how are they doing over at the door? They're all right.
Everything was set up.
Yeah.
There's a great group in that room last night. I went to the board meeting last night. They have everything organized. Everything's golden. I just helped them go over the outline for the MC, which is Christy Roselli. Again this year for year number 2. She did a great job last year.
I thought Christy did a great job last year. I'm looking forward to her again this year. So.
Yep.
She'll do good. She did good. She'll do good. Yep.
So
there's 10, 12 people behind the scenes that are doing this every day.
Yep.
Getting ready for it. And, they're checking their list and checking off things and getting down to the final here. It's Wednesday.
You're going to be greeted when you come in the door. I think Smalls Medler, Justin Medler, the president's going to be selling the tickets as you come in the door. So.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be good.
Scott Jern, I think, is going to sit there with him. They had some people lined up to do it. Jenny has asked to join me on the other side and bow out of a lot of that stuff. She wants to become more along the lines of Max's mom, hanging out, not doing the stressful stuff of organizing it.
We'll save her for the spring show.
Yeah.
Okay. or they will. Yeah. We will, whatever. So, yeah. Well, again, the torch has to constantly be being passed along, and people that are really prepared will always say that you need to have some depth in your preparation, and the more people that can kind of watch and or help will become the main things in 2, 3, 5 year windows, and you can't get too much practice at doing what you're talking about. It can be very stressful. There's things that have to be ordered, and they have to be gotten, and they have to be not forgotten. So
they did
it's a lot.
So once we eat 6 o'clock, then we're going to roll right into I think change it up. They're changing it up a little bit this year. They're going to roll right into the Hall of Fame inductions. They're going to be first out of the gate, so that'll be my part. Christy will call me up there, and then I'll do my thing with you Hall of Famers.
Okay.
And the whole banquet will be recorded. Internet is the issue down there. I did not schedule far enough ahead with SRT. I gave them a call this week. They couldn't get out there and put internet in, so we are not doing a Dirt Weekly live there. But
okay. I was wondering that too. So
we are not doing a Dirt because the internet stuff, I don't want to mess with it.
Well, that's probably cool. That'll give you time to prepare for your impromptu Conway Twitty rendition of Tight Fitting Jeans.
Yeah.
Hey, you brought it up. So last night I'm in the garage, and I mean, hit the lottery. Conway, Tight Fitting Jeans, followed by Mel McDaniel, Baby Got Her Blue Jeans On.
Whoa.
Stars are in alignment.
I actually had to stop and take a seat and just go, wow.
What are the odds?
Am I still on Earth? Any feedback? Do we get any new AM listeners, or nobody played along?
I tuned into KCJB for a little while.
On the ride home?
Tried to.
Tried to?
Well, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you always have AM.
Right. Oh, dang. Tight Fitting Jeans was on when I was driving over here tonight. I mean, backed up to the killer last night.
So it's fresh in your mind. So
man.
I would agree they just don't play music. They don't make music like that anymore.
You mean that positive, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, it sounded questionable.
There's some goodness about it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my
Barbara
cup of tea.
Mandrell. I mean, come on. It's good stuff.
Every generation has their stuff, and I was in the bar in Jamestown over the weekend. Dickinson. We had bowling on Saturday, and I was down there watching college football, sitting in the bar, and the young gal kept playing. She called them oldies. They were late 90s, early 2000 kind of alternative hip-hop pop stuff. Like, it was good songs.
You got to be careful, Brandon.
Yeah.
Jordan and I are pulling you into
we might not have heard those songs yet. I mean, they're only 20 years old.
Yeah.
What year were you born?
82.
Yeah. That's when I graduated.
We just
yeah.
We just kind of had this discussion or whatever. We talked about a Wayne Johnson, 40 years of racing. I just turned 40 this year, or 41 this year.
Right.
I only have him by one. Wayne, you're not old.
Right. Right. We both started in 84. 1984.
So 7 o'clock, we will get the
Can do some HOF right out of the gate.
Hall of Fame right out of the gate. What do I got here? Let's throw it up on the screen. The dedicated, Jesse and Bonnie
good-looking
Klug.
bunch.
Yeah, Tom Carson, Mike Coughlin. Those are the volunteers. Those are the ones who are dedicated to keep the racetrack going each and every week.
Yeah, a lot of history there.
Entertainers are those that put on the show. Jordan Boyce to our right here. Nathan Burke, Wayne Johnson. Great class of 6 inductees this year.
Exciting. Yeah. Yeah, we're all friends, and that's pretty cool. So, yeah. Yeah, there's some history there for sure.
Are we putting money down on who has the longest speech?
I don't think it's even a question.
Oh, come on now.
What's the plus or minus? Where's the line at
what's
for
the
Jordan?
over-under?
Over-under for Jordan's
I
speech.
say Jordan goes over everyone else by 25 minutes.
No way. I'm keeping it short. 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm sticking to it.
Does that include
Maybe
your song?
5.
Your song too?
Well, that might be later. Is anybody bringing in some real music here, or we gotta improvise?
You have me thinking here now. If there's a way that I can tie some music into that thing.
Hey, there'll be plenty in the room that know the music.
They might not admit walk-up song.
Yeah.
She's walking on
tight-fitting jeans.
She tried to hide it.
Hey, if you've heard it, you like it.
we might be able to make that happen.
That's real stuff.
Yeah.
Solid gold.
Then once we come out of that, once we're done with the Hall of Fame stuff, we're going to go into kind of the beginning of the awards part. They're going to – actually, I missed something. We're going to have an auctioneer go, and they're going to auction off 5 pairs of gloves. Now, they're going to do half the gloves before the award ceremony, then half the gloves after, just to try to break it up, give people a chance. Those that want to go get something to drink, go to the bathroom. Those that want to bid can stay there and do the bidding, type stuff. And these gloves, if you haven't been there in the past, do you know how the glove thing works?
Well, Robbie was in talking to me about it. And
yeah, you have one of the
Yep.
Call it a prize. I don't know what else to call it. One of the prizes in the gloves is a Marketplace gift card.
And this glove deal is not cheap.
No, it's not cheap. You're not only going to get – so you bid on these racing gloves. They're actual racing gloves that you wear. Oh, I got a text from Scott. So I thought maybe I screwed something up.
Yeah.
Didn't want to screw something up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Robbie was very, very excited about it and was telling me.
It's been really good the last few years. We introduced it. So there's 10 pairs of gloves. Each pair of glove has a $500 plus prize that goes with it. So not only do you get the gloves, but you get in the years past, there's been a $500 gift card.
And that's an unknown going in?
Unknown. You don't know. So you're basically bidding on the first choice. So.
But even at that, you don't know.
You don't know. So we bid off these choices. You're bidding like this is choice 1 through 5 of pairs of gloves. And then at the end of the night, whoever has 1 through 10, if you won the first bid, you get to go choose your pair of gloves, and then the prize that goes with it, you don't know what it's going to be until you open it up. And the grand prize out of all of it is $1,000 cash, which I think my son won last year.
Well, that gets the race car started in May better.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is everybody's waiting for this. When you get to the end, so you auction off the gloves, and these gloves go for $500, $600, $700, $800. To get a chance for that $1,000 or. Well,
and it's a reminder that it is a fundraiser.
Yes. It's a fundraiser. So all this money.
We're not necessarily looking for the value of the gift as being the cap. We're looking at prolonging our
and all this
game
money.
And sport.
All this money goes into the Nodak Speedway bank account or to help the Nodak Speedway get through the winter into next spring and get the race season started.
Well, they got expenses of the banquet itself and things like that. Car show in the spring.
So they'll auction off 5 chances or 5 pairs of gloves at that point in time. They don't choose their gloves then, but they're just auction off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the choice order. And then, holy cow, what is that guy doing? Our landlord up there sounds like he might be.
Keep it down there.
Yeah. Maybe that was the message there. You guys are a little loud.
And then they're going to, once them 5 gloves are auctioned off, I don't know who the auctioneer is this year. I heard Milt Korsland wasn't able to make it, so we'll have to figure out who that is. It might be Brandon up there going, up in there. Who's going to give me $25 and a half, right?
Well, it's interesting you say that. What about Kevin Beater? How is he related to you?
Kevin, Clint and my dad are cousins. So Kevin would be a second
cousin, yep.
I think they were going to reach out to them.
Mini stock days.
Yeah.
Double nickel, 55.
Solid. Got her done many times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only raced a few years. He didn't race a whole bunch of years.
No, he got in there and capitalized and bailed before he had to take a 30-year out on it.
I see Clint and Karen at the races a bunch.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Kevin there a whole bunch.
Seen Kevin for a while.
Kevin's son, just a little tidbit, Kevin's son is the quarterback for the Minot High football team.
The Beater name is everywhere. Yes, I heard that, and I was going to ask you about that.
That's Kevin's son.
Wow.
Clint's grandson.
I didn't even put 2 in. Yeah, that's awesome. Again, time goes by fast.
Oh, it's crazy.
And they are putting the Big Daddy whooping on everybody they're coming in contact with.
Except for Fargo Cheyenne. Which I think they have a big game tomorrow night. Minot High does. Is they got to keep winning to stay in their second ranking and going into the playoffs. So that's a PSP Network. Everybody, if you ain't watching PSP Network tonight, I think it's volleyball tonight.
So Nick saying Beater, it just fits.
It just fits. Yeah, that's what Nick said. It just fits.
56-0, I think they won last.
Yeah, against Williston.
Oof.
And I lost the bet. My bet was 50 nothing, but somebody else got it right on the dot.
Wow, that's some confidence.
And then Christy will take over at that point once we get past the auction. She's going to run through all the volunteers, all the board members, everybody that put the race show on or the race program on. Now Travis. Travis said watching the Dirt Weekly with Ridge.
Well, hey, that's how to spend a Wednesday there.
Very nice.
There you go.
Is that a pumpkin shirt?
Yeah, he's a little pumpkin.
I'm loving it. Well, bringing up UND.
Fall time.
Yeah.
UND laying the hammer to the Bison.
NDSU.
Wow.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That'd have been a good payoff.
All I got to say is those that didn't watch it, the black uniforms UND had on with the silver helmets, money.
I'm glad you said that.
100% money.
I was going to say, is it just because I'm a little bit older that this throwback stuff just hits right?
I didn't see it.
Give me them uniforms any day.
I just seen the final scores, so.
Good. I love it.
Sounds like the Raiders.
Yeah, but it didn't have the Raider look. It was
didn't, huh?
Because it had the green on it. It had the green outline of the number and stuff, and then the silver helmet with the green.
So, there's always the controversy of the Sioux and now the Hawks, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that don't want to give it, just let it be as it was. I mean, there was no Hawk on there. There was just UND. We're North Dakota, and we're going to take the Bison down, and they did. And it was
fun game to watch. I watched it in the bar. It was fun game to watch. I'm not a necessarily UND fan or an NDSU fan. I'm a football fan. I like North Dakota schools. I like North Dakota teams. So watching it, I didn't have a dog in either fight.
20-plus years?
They kind of sat dormant.
They haven't beat the Bison.
Yep.
So it's nice to see a little.
Bison have been showing a little bit of hole in their armor there starting last year, and they got moments.
I got to pump the brakes on this, Jordan. I'm getting in hot water because our dome designer.
I was going to say.
I'm ruffling feathers with her. There isn't a bigger Bison fan in the world.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Better do a health check on her, make sure she's okay. I see we haven't got no blueprints, so.
All Bison all the way.
Yeah. We got Travis on UND, so walking gingerly here.
Harper says hi. Hi, Harper.
Hi, Harps.
Adam Goff, I believe, is on the road coming back from picking up Harper.
Oh. Harper, Well, we're great entertainment, so he says. That's good.
So they'll run through the all the volunteers that make it work. And
that's quality time there.
It's a big list. It's a lot of names. Not a lot of names to read off. It's about 3 pages on here. If you look at this lineup deal I got here. And then they'll go into the beginning awards or the volunteers of the year. There's a special award going to somebody, sponsor of the year, and a gold award of excellence that gets handed out to a business every year. I'm not going to divulge who these are.
Well, let's keep it a surprise. So,
but the gold award of excellence is kind of honor or gives a business or somebody that went above and beyond where they needed to be just to make the races go. So
sponsorship's important, and this is the time to recognize
those are some of the hardest awards because even the volunteer of the year, how do you split it up? Because you have track crew, you have ticket takers, you have ticket sellers, you have the back gate, you have souvenirs, you have a flagman, you have corner official, you have everybody, you have the back gate, you have. How do you choose one? Because they're all committed.
Well, there's one criteria. I remember one night, and I think the Big Show got a call against him, and he wasn't happy with it. And he pulled down front, and Stu had to address him, right?
Oh.
Boy.
Yeah.
And I
doesn't
think
sound like any fun at all.
Stu should have got volunteer of the decade for that one.
I think he ate 10 pounds of Nodak dirt as Mr. Walla was leaving. It made for good CTV right there, I'm telling you.
Then they'll roll into, once we get done with that, they'll roll into the rookies of the year. Every class has a rookie of the year designation to it. It's basically the highest in points, highest rookie in points is how that goes.
If there's 5 rookies, the one with the highest accumulated points gets the nod.
In track points, in Nodak track points.
That's how we did it when we were there, too. It seemed to explain itself. So.
Yeah, pretty simple. I mean,
and that being the new people to the particular class.
Yeah. Well, yes, and understanding that if you raced an A mod and go back to a sport mod, you're not a rookie in the sport mod if you never raced one.
Good point. Yeah.
If you raced a stock
car in a
car,
progressive direction.
If you raced a stock car
right.
and went back to a hobby and you never raced a hobby before, that doesn't make you a rookie. It means you're still you were a stock car driver dropping down. IMCA. If IMCA considers you a rookie, then we consider you a rookie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Brian Twite, Hobby Stock Rookie of the Year. Drove the second Alex Twite car. Good runs. It's nice to see Brian there all summer long. It's pretty cool. Sport Mod Drew Papke. I don't believe I'm divulging any unknown information with this stuff here because it's pretty easy to look at the points and see who these are.
Drew had parked his Legend car and hopped in with both feet in a Sport Mod and had some challenges along the way, and that comes with the train for sure. So, but I remember that particular night had the pleasure of helping to announce, but him and Darren Schatz there had just a great battle, and he had second that night, and that was a tremendous run for a rookie season. So,
and that is fun when you have an individual that you knew well in the Legends and you're seeing them move up.
Yeah,
it's exciting to
really see how they adapt to the different class and the different environment. And I've worked with Drew a little bit there. He's done some troubleshooting on some stuff and really trying to learn the, if you will, the edges of what's acceptable and what isn't, and when things should be maintenanced and all that. So, yeah, I think he's got the fire under him still. He's going to charge into next year with what he's learned this year. And
it was really a new learning curve for him. He made it to the claim area one time. And he grabbed me as I was walking by. He goes, "Hey, come help me here. They're going to text something. Come help me." And I'm like, I can't really get in the middle of it. I don't, it's not my deal. I can't. I got a brother that's racing and stuff. So I pawned him off. I said, I can't remember. Somebody was walking by, and I grabbed him and I said, "Hey, give him a hand." So that way,
Yeah,
and
I know Bryson and Dylan Barnhart both have helped when they can.
Because everything is so new to Drew. Drew is a Legend guy moving to the big car, the
simplicity of the Legend car and the spec of everything, just easy to present it. Where or like we talked about rev limiters and stuff like that, and all of a sudden that's an issue, or maybe checking underneath the valve cover or something like that. So
it's all different.
Little new to him. So,
but great year nonetheless. I mean, he had some good runs not only at Nodak but other racetracks as well.
Yeah, he campaigned the whole season, raced a lot for a first-year guy, and
fun-looking rig that he has with the motorhome with the open trailer.
With the open trailer,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
He's doing both at the same time.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Sport Compact, Tiffany Tuchscher had a pretty good year.
She did.
She roll it over once too by the end of the year? Or
I
no?
don't think she did.
She
it was
did.
Lily.
Yeah, Lily did.
Yeah, Lily got upside down. I think she got an offender bender there.
She went toe-to-toe quite often with Mr. Yost. It seemed like they were doing a lot of dancing.
I know. I thought that she would snag one by the end of Motor Magic. She didn't, but I suspect that she'll be back next year. And, certainly worthy. What a great rookie season for her, too. So,
stock car Taylor Mogard. Moji,
yeah. He been working on getting his Ford powered going, and
I think he brought it out the end of last year. Brought his Ford out the end of last
maybe
year.
Motor Magic, it was late.
Late. Which, if you didn't buy a license, if you race the non-sanctioned shows, all that does is kind of give you a head start to next year. It doesn't take away your rookie status.
And he's in the middle of Mike Swallers and Bob Bugman and stuff like that.
He actually
drove.
Didn't he drive the 76 for a good portion of the year?
And he has, yeah. Sometimes there's been troubles with the car there or whatever, and he's been able to drive one, or they've let him drive one or whatever. And that's cool. Yeah, nice recognition. Again, it's somebody's just trying to get traction in the class and get his presentation going. And every year it's getting a little better. And this year was that too. So
modified his one and only year Terry Fall. Because he sold the car already.
Yeah.
I think he sold it over fair break, if I remember right.
And I was going to text you guys.
Because that sounds about right.
I was heading from my house from Burlington to Minot, and the 75, the black, that's Terry's.
Yep.
Was heading west. And this was 2 days ago. And I'm like, what am I missing, fellas? What am I missing? Where are they going? So the 75 was going west somewhere.
I think it was heading out to trackside, I believe.
Open trailer, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got breaking news. Can we say it on the show?
I don't know.
I got breaking news. Read that one.
Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh. We'll hold on to that. Breaking news. He's dying over here, Jordan.
Yeah. That'll get interesting in Underwood.
Yeah. Where were we at now that came through? I gotta go here.
Was that Jordan's announcement that he's out in Underwood? Is that what it
No, I'm in. So
no.
We'll catch up.
Sportsmanship awards in every class. Every class is awarded a driver with a sportsmanship award. And the thing that I wrote up a few years ago, just to kind of say what this award was or what it meant, it's an award that goes to the driver that carries themselves in a professional manner, a good standing with the race club, and show respect to their fellow racers and officials on and off the track. Mm-hmm. Pretty basic, pretty simple, but can be challenging. AKA Max Beater is not the sportsman of the year.
Well, when things are good, everybody's good. It's when things aren't good, you got to see how good they are when it's not good, and that usually narrows down the field pretty quick.
As a fan, do you pay attention to the sportsmanship of the racers and stuff?
Absolutely do. And and I challenge you a little bit on Max because, and of course I know him from the store too, and you couldn't ask for a more jolly, happy fella. And just a couple times did the evil side come out in the race car. Other than that, and I applauded every move he made.
What's a kid to do?
So when you look at the hobby stock class, who's your sportsman? Take a look at that group of drivers. Who's the group of drivers there that you look at? Fans can answer this at home too.
Kyler Satrin, and Brenner Grinstead. I don't think I've ever seen them intentionally lay a fender on someone, race clean. Those are the two that really come to my mind right away. Katie Ruby. When she hops in there, she runs nice and clean, and a beloved fan favorite. So, but yeah, those three are that probably come to my mind right away.
Yeah, I'm going to hang in there too. Yeah, never really sour on anything, and always upbeat and positive. So, yeah, and campaign hard. So, of course, Katie and Josh both share that, and yeah.
I'm not gonna. I know who it is, so I'm not gonna weigh in. I don't have a weigh-in vote because they'll be skewed one way or the other.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
That would.
I don't know who it is, so I'm going to agree with you, Craig. I can't think of anybody right off, and not that anybody's bad. I mean, this could go, I'm sure, another 5. Just
Oh
just
yeah, I mean, you could go
here,
down.
So,
how far do you go? Like, you'd have to pull up the points.
Probably the hardest to do. Control your emotions. I know if I raced
when things aren't right,
I could not win a sportsmanship because I've mentioned many times I'd be throwing people in the wall, throwing my helmet. The emotions are so intense.
Yeah.
That's one thing I admire about you drivers probably the most when you're going 3 wide for the lead, and just staying calm. I mean,
yeah. Okay, everybody, we're in this together. Don't lift.
Yeah, no
we're going to run over each other. So.
I was going to look up the point standings here at the Nodak Speedway just to kind of.
Or if your Sport Compact's going 6 wide.
Going 6 wide.
You never hear much. Picture. You never hear much from like a Brett Green, a Nate Jern, a Thomas Goldsberry.
That's what I mean.
Them are all. I mean, those are all guys that are. They show up each and every week, and they don't make a big fuss, and they're usually walking around talking to everybody, or somebody's going to talk to them, and.
Yeah, and I might be guilty of kind of blanketing the weekend instead of the Nodak night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's yeah. And again, we're just talking. So, but yeah, those names that you said. I mean, they full-time Minot and not necessarily a lot of other stuff, and that's okay. And that's completely okay. And at the same time, they participate at Nodak full-time. So. Yeah, good on that.
So sport mods, I guess we could be doing this. Let's do it class by class. Let's go back to the hobby stocks. Your champion in the hobby stocks is Kyler Satrin. Mm-hmm. Runner up, Caden Appelt. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got them 2 down. We have the rookie of the year in Brian Twite. Mm-hmm. We've kind of talked about a handful of guys for that sportsmanship. Who's most improved in the hobby stocks that you've seen all year?
With a bullet, Goldsberry. For sure. I mean, top 5, top 6, top 5. I mean, he was right there and challenging him, and I really liked
in
what
the
he
lead
was
pack, and that had the visual on it. I know when I was involved in the board, a lot of times we would look at the previous year points or something like that. And if they were full time, sometimes there was some clarity there. But yeah, I mean,
Goldsberry a top 5 in points.
Yeah.
Alex Twite 4th in points.
I thought Anthony had just. Early on, he had just exciting results. So, and I thought he carried it through to the end of the year too. So,
I think some good nominees.
Like
could be sportsman as well too. I thought he raced clean and was right there.
Good point.
And probably running in the middle of the pack, even more of a sportsman, because if you're running in the middle of the pack,
sometimes that's a tough area.
Yes.
So, good point. Good point. Yeah, that could be a candidate for that too. Yeah.
So we'll roll into the sport mods now. IMC Sport Mods. We talked about the Rookie of the Year. Who did we say the Rookie of the Year was? Drew Papke.
Drew
Papke. Isaac. Oh, I got to look at that. I got a lot of people messaging me tonight. Don't they know we're busy on the Dirt Weekly? I guess they watch it live on Facebook and then text me.
Katie forgot.
Gabe Deshaw is the champion. Brock Beater runner-up. So we know that they're going to get awards at some point in time during this during the banquet. Mm-hmm. Sportsmanship in the sport mods.
I think Chad Strachan is such a gentleman, and when I think a racer,
when you talk about the sportsman respect on and off the track, he got a screw job
at
Motor Magic and didn't even get upset.
Yeah. Oh man.
Didn't even yell at anybody. Didn't anything. He stayed calm and had a kind, casual conversation with myself, and there was nothing I could do. But he just came to have a conversation with me. I couldn't change the outcome, but the next day we rectified what the situation was.
Yeah,
so.
That act alone was probably good enough.
Yes,
but that, if nothing else, that might have just been the icing on the cake because, again, always presentable, always approachable.
He didn't go to Facebook. The worst thing you can do if you want to be sportsmanship, stay off Facebook.
Yeah, right. Right.
As we're broadcasting on it.
As we're broadcasting on Facebook.
Again, you get what you pay for here.
Yeah.
But, he was in the running for the Motor Magic Championship as well for that weekend, too. So, yes, he handled it like a man.
But, I mean, you have a Christopher Zenz, you have a Darren Medler, Chad Stretch, and Dave Ravinius. Never hear anything from Spicy Dave.
Yeah, that's,
week in, week out, always
Dave's
there.
Been a volunteer, too, so he knows what it takes, too. So, yeah, good names there, for sure. Like I say, everybody's pretty good when things are going pretty good. It's when they're not going good that you can kind of get a test. And
most improved in the sport mods. Anybody stand out? Most improved?
This is going to be the most preposterous statement that you guys are ever going to hear. But to me, the most improved in the sport mods, Gabe Shaw. I think so. I mean, my goodness. I mean, he, from a year prior, well, I guess that probably was helpful with Eric moving up a class because, I mean, it was Eric, Darren Medler, dominant. Gabe was not like he is now. I mean, and now as he comes on the track, you're like, okay. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
I was kind of leaning. I was kind of leaning towards a Bruce King or a Taylor Stenvold, one of them.
I like Taylor.
Taylor really showed improvement towards the end of the year. Bruce, from last year to this year, I thought improved. Just the eyeball test, he improved.
Yeah, for sure. Racing was completely new to him last year, and he had some much more controlled events, if you will. Not that it was ever terribly out of control, but he's just learning to stay in the groove even when it's tight, just slow down and things like that.
But I think I would agree with him on the Gabe DeShaw thing. If you put 22 pen to paper, 22
to 23, he's probably going to have 6-8 marks upwards.
Yeah, but I mean, honorable mentions to Bruce,
for sure,
to these guys. Maybe even a Dave Ravinius improved from last year to this year type stuff. Taylor was so close to picking up that feature win.
Yeah, he was.
Multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll with Sport Compacts. Let's go back to the Sport Compacts here. Lily Christensen was the Rookie of the Year. Right? Is that what we came up with earlier on in this thing? Yeah, Tiffany Tuchscher was Rookie of the Year.
Tiffany, okay.
Why did I mess that up?
Tiffany
Tuchscher, Rookie of the Year. Chris Yost, champion.
Champion, okay.
Alex Thompson, runner-up. Two front runners up top there.
Those two were seemingly being talked about most every night, so.
Yep.
Seems about right.
In that class, sportsmanship, I think, is by nature in that class. You could probably put everybody in a hat and draw one out.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to help everybody.
Yeah, well, on that help side, I think Chris Yost probably has hands in everybody's operation, as far as trying to get everybody going. So that's honorable for sure. I've enjoyed James Gilbert's interviews.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job in
pretty
Victor Lane.
Sportsmanlike. Yeah, so
does a good job thinking the crowd, thinking the fans.
Yeah, we got the young ladies in there, and they're always a good interview too.
Yeah, Lily and Abby they don't get much love. And Brian Hughbanks, I think, first full-time year in a compact. He was,
and Zach got in one later on in the year. So
Kyle Eklund
doing
almost
a father-son deal. Yeah, Kyle.
He almost goes unnoticed.
We joke about going 6 wide, but you're not going 6 wide without sportsmanship. I mean, there's got to be some give and take.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right, but the picture says otherwise. So they were in fact 6 wide. That's true.
Yeah. So I mean,
again, some tough decisions. A lot of times you gotta bring up the 22 and maybe even the 21 points just to kind of see where people were and reflect back on.
The biggest thing I did when I was president is I just looked who were the troublemakers. Who were the guys that were in the mouth or voice, who did I hear about all the time?
Who do we talk about at board meetings?
Who did we talk about?
At board meetings.
And
not them.
Yeah.
so not usually them.
Yeah.
So not them. So
stay off the board radar and you'll get a sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's a big step in the right direction. So, shoot.
And I wasn't in the board meeting, so I'm guessing not a lot of these drivers were on the board radar this year. So.
One of my favorite sayings is, if racing don't make you mad, nothing makes you mad.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's been mad. So
most improved in that compact division. And I have one.
Most improved.
Well, I think for me is Mr. Gilbert. I think he's.
My only thing with that is Gilbert dominated the class a few years ago. He won however many features. I think it was a handful of years ago.
Kind of established then.
Went into a hobby stock.
I was going to say, we got so many more cars about mid-season on that it's
hard
to trying to think of who was there before him and still there at the end. So,
because you have we can bring them up. Abby Tallman got in a car last year at Motor Magic, I think, raced a few nights at the end of the year, and then comes out this year as a rookie and has an outstanding year. Top 5 in points. Hugh Banks, coming out in a car. Kyle Eklund. Once again, you have 3 or 4 people that this most improved could go to.
Well, and that's just how these things do get picked, is this similar discussion that we're having.
The exact discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't want to, you don't want to miss anybody, and then the conversation goes like this, and then it seems to narrow itself down one way or another. So sometimes I think there could be some frustration as into how things got picked. But again, this very conversation and everybody on here listening is part of it. This is, you give them a chance to throw in their good ideas, and Sometimes they just got all the right stuff in all the right places when they get decided. So,
and I was talking to Randy Christensen today at the store, and he mentioned that Drew and Lily went to Billings to race, and Lily had a wonderful showing there in Billings. I believe he said she got 6th, I believe, up there in Billings. Drove through the fields. He said he was so proud of her.
That's awesome. Well, Lily's digging. The night she rolled her car, we got to get ready for the feature. So, Craig, when again was the Billings race?
I think it was the same weekend as Stampede.
Stampede weekend, okay. Not this past weekend.
In reference to that rollover, Randy mentioned that she hurt her knee very significantly and is still battling with that. You think there she came out unscathed. And
yeah.
You never know.
I did think she was, but.
I've rolled a car before. Your legs fly all over the place. I had skinned up shins and all kinds of things. Put padding on bars.
Yeah.
In places,
Again, I've been upside down a little bit too, and that's probably the worst thing is that whatever's underneath your dash is poking your knees and your legs.
So back to the
true.
The most improved deal, because some people think of it as most improved from 22 to 23. I kind of was in the mindset a lot of times, depending on who the nominees were, from night 1 to end of year type stuff to who improved the most there.
Yeah, because they might not have a previous year to go on, or maybe not a full time. So again, that when you get it necked down to three to 4 or 5 people, you got to start looking at it from that angle.
And it's
and
real
that's
debate.
A good criteria.
There's a 3-hour board meeting dedicated to these awards.
Yeah.
When people think, you just pick names and put them up there because you want so-and-so to come to the banquet and so-and-so's family. No, there is because you have 7 board members that walk in there, and all 7 of them have their own awards list that they think should be each award. And you narrow it down as we're talking.
Right. As homework, you come in with your list and don't talk to each other like we're doing here. You come in with your own, and then let's see where it goes. So, no, there's a lot of discussion put into these. So,
IMCA stock car. We already talked about the rookie of the year. Champion Adam Goff.
Adam for champion.
Runner
that
up.
That is exciting for
Will
him.
Shareski.
Yes.
So we know they're going to get some awards. Taylor Mogard was 4th in points. No wonder why he got Rookie of the Year. Right behind you.
It must mean we were there every night.
Sportsmanship award in the class that you're in. Who stands out in your class? You got Gabe, Jason Berg, Cole, Joe Flory, Austin Doe.
Yeah. And I would say of all the classes that race out there, the one probably the hardest to get the Sportsman Award is that class because you guys race so close.
Yeah, close, but I don't know. I'd say we know the difference between racing close and getting ran over for sure. So,
and I definitely want to make. So if we're in Miss America pageant, right? This kind of reminds me of Miss Congeniality. You know what I mean?
The sportsmanship is Miss Congeniality.
But the girls don't want Miss Congeniality because I think it costs you the title or something.
Oh.
But anyway, Jordan, come on. There is, just like Mr. Strachan, I feel the same way about you. You represent racing. And there have been many times this season that I've seen you probably take a rub, and I'm like, Jordan, run that guy down and put it. You always are a gentleman and an ambassador of the sport, and I'm very, very proud of what you do for racing. You are a sportsman.
Well, that's how I enjoy it for sure. And again, one thing about stock cars is they don't have crate motors, so most everybody's fairly mechanical. So everybody in the class has usually knows how to time a motor or something like that when somebody needs that. I know, Adam's day job is that for sure, but I've seen him running around with a timing light, and I have, and I think everybody in the class probably has. So you kind of get the mechanics of the older experienced guys that maybe should be mechanical, and they probably are, to keep some of the new guys running that might have troubles with an HEI or something like that. So I think the class as a whole is probably pretty mechanical, and Will builds his own motors and stuff like that. So, I mean, they can help troubleshoot some things that aren't always easy for the other people. But, no, those are nice words there. I appreciate that. But that's just how I want to enjoy it. That's what stock car racing for me has been. Me stepping away from a modified is a way to stay involved without the craziness of the A-mod demands. So
I know you've shared parts with other racers.
Yeah.
I know you've helped rookies come up and get them going.
That's been fun. And as I always share, people help me do it. So just, as we talk, just keeping the sport alive. And I've learned some things along the way that maybe are shortcuts to troubleshooting some things and, pass those along. So Travis and Ridge will know how to do that 20 years from now. So Mike and I'll keep them tuned up. So, Gal, I don't know, sportsmanship, like I say, there's plenty in there, plenty to choose from. Austin Doe, I mean, phenomenal athlete, great race car driver. Man, I don't think he's ever had a frown on his face, even when things haven't went right. So,
well, I've seen him upset once or twice.
Have you?
Yeah, we may not have called the best call on him, and he let me know about it.
Yeah. Well,
see, I don't hold that against anybody.
Those tough calls are tough, so especially when they look like they're wrong when you review them. Oh no! So, but
there was one year that we gave a sportsmanship award to somebody who chewed my butt, and I didn't hold it against him one bit because I'm an emotional person as well, and in a moment where we maybe didn't make the correct call or the call was kind of iffy.
Yeah.
But we still gave him sportsmanship.
Yeah.
And I told him when we were getting the picture taken, I'm like, remember that night you chewed me out?
Yeah. Look at us now. Right. Yeah. Well, as I've said.
It's part of the game. Part of the game.
If you thought you just got screwed over 100%, and even the people that passed judgment did agree with you, like a good basketball game, it seems to have its ebb and flow, and it always seems to equal out. I've been watching school sports here now for a month, and there have been things that have been maybe not perfectly right, but it seemed like it balanced itself out by the end of the show. So
I think stock cars is the hardest division right now to have these awards.
You shared on some stuff, Brandon. I mean, some of us in there have been around forever, and some of these awards, we probably have received them in the past. So that probably is reason enough to leave that part alone. So try to keep the newer people in the class, if you will.
Not only that, but
tickled by that. So
only 4 drivers raced every single night, and then another 2 cars missed only one night, and then you're getting to, guys that miss 3-4 nights of the summer.
Pushing half a season.
So you're only looking at a window of maybe 6-7 guys that you can kind of
even
choose
entertain.
For entertain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I say, that when you start, you want people that are here, participating with you. I mean, that should be a grounded criteria. So
because that goes into the most improved. Like, how do you, in your class, who do you see as the most improved in your class?
Well, what's there is the champion. So, I mean, if you're going to go from last year to this year, and they're full time, so kind of a Gabe statement there. So, a similar outline. So that would be that. But
because you could almost go with Gabe Deshaw himself in the stock cars
too.
For most improved.
Stock car Stampede champion.
Stock car, right?
And I think a lot of
huge.
these,
I said he broke through with that, and he did. I mean,
and a lot of these I think were decided before that. That doesn't mean they can't change their mind, but I think they had the meeting on this award stuff before that.
And this is the Nodak Banquet, so it's going to be based on Nodak type stuff.
Nodak,
the
summer.
Certainly the majority influence of it.
When you take the eyeball test from opening night to the end of night, that's what I kind of look at. Mm-hmm. Gabe definitely made the improvement throughout the summer.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
But from last year to this year, you'd probably look more at like an Adam Goff, our champion, who made a big step from last year to this year.
Points-wise.
Points
position-wise. Yeah.
I agree with that, Adam Goff, because I think I referenced to you guys about when he rolled over at Dakota Speedway.
The tenacity to get it going.
Yes, and I remember feeling a lot of empathy for him, at that point. Well, this year he didn't need any empathy from me at all. I mean, he was – yes, I would say he is probably the most improved in my mind, for sure.
Some guys are chiming in here that they want Jordan Boyce for Sportsman. It's one of them deals. I think he got it last year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think I did. And I have gotten it quite a few times, and I appreciate that, guys. I really do. And it is always important.
That sportsmanship deal means a lot in my eyes because it means you're most of the time, a lot of the time, you're respected by your peers. The sportsman means your peers, your racers and officials, everybody look up to you. You have their full respect.
Example. You take Joe Florey's drive shaft to the nose. See, I'd have took it over and said, Joe, I think you left this in my
Oh, well, again, we got good friendship there.
Let's be a little bit more careful.
Retrieved it
with our toys.
Yeah. I mean, everybody got out of there unhurt, so that's just fun now. So, but yeah, like, and again, for those listening, that's what makes these things tough is that it's, when it's not clear, you get down to 3 or whatever, and somebody make the call, and so, but.
IMCA Modifieds, you have Terry Fall was the Rookie of the Year.
New guy to the class. So.
New guy to the class, but now not even in the class because you've seen his car going that way. It's Saturn's own Terry Fall's car now.
Yeah.
So you go with Travis Hagen, the dark horse.
Got championship.
Drew Christensen right behind him in second. Sportsmanship in the modifieds. I go with the Iron Man, Marcus. He's at every track, usually little to no drama. He understands what it's like to run a racetrack. He knows not to cause anything. That's where I look right away. But, I mean, his buddy Isaac is sitting right next to him. They're parked right with one another.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to use the same phrase, probably the most preposterous thing I'm going to say, the most improved, even though he was our track champion last year. I think Marcus improved dramatically. If he doesn't have 10 second places, I mean, he is just knocking on, and of the big races, he's just right there, and he's so
Tour
close.
night moved up 20-some spots.
Yes.
Participation everywhere. Right.
I think next year he's going to be
always promoting the sport. I mean, went to Beatrice to watch it rain. I mean, I remember the good old days myself. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I guess that's where I'm at. I mean, Wayne Johnson is the same boat, steady for 40 years.
Yeah.
Hardly hear a boo out of him. It was a big part in helping Roy Miller with the drainage around the bottom. He was down there. Donated a loader for Aiden to do his stuff down there.
Wade, I mean, I don't know anybody that hasn't asked Wayne for help and didn't receive it, and lots of it, whether it be the track for dirt, whether it be individuals with racing.
The Tornado, Jared Thielen, F5, as he was
F5.
down in Mandan, F5.
Yeah.
He was full Tornado, full send on that one.
Again, full-time participation, I'm pretty sure.
I was told that we can release that breaking news once it's posted on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
What's Wayne got planned for his equipment? Is he sold off?
We had a little bit of conversation up in Williston. Wayne wants to continue being in the racing industry, if you will. Gonna do bodies and I think I'll call it light repair on cars. But during the winter here, there's he makes impeccable bodies. So sport mods, A mods type bodies. Do up some bodies, and I teased him a little bit about doing frame repair, and he said he wasn't, but that means he might. So, so to see how the bodies are how the body side of it's doing. If he can keep caught up on that, if you need a tail on your car or even a front clip or something like that, I'm telling you, I've had that work done, and nobody can do it better than Wayne. He can do it as good as anybody, and I don't know anybody that can do it better. So his welding's beautiful. He measures everything 4 times before he nails it down. And
has he sold his stuff at all?
I have not caught up to him since Stampede. Again, I've just been busy with some stuff of my own here, but
because he's got a stable full of stuff.
Well, he's got an established shop full of stuff for sure. I know he's just down to the one modified that he was racing at the end of the year. I don't know if that's got a home yet or not. Truck and trailers for sale. I don't know that. I don't know if anything's even being talked about.
I don't
idea. Know. So. But,
no news from me.
Well maintained, beautiful equipment. That I will guarantee. Whoever wants to buy it. So.
Yeah, I don't even know. Is he ultimately going to sell the shop?
I would say eventually, but I think for now it's going to stay what it is.
I know
as
nothing.
Repairs. That's how I understood the conversation in Williston there. So that will be an asset to racing. So
yes,
I'm glad to hear it. So
you are blowing up like crazy over here.
Oh, this breaking news is going to kill you. This breaking news is going to absolutely blow your mind. Stay tuned.
Breaking news.
The 2023 snowmobile racing season begins this weekend.
What?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what it is.
Well, last weekend it for snowmobiles, but
I may have. You guys don't know. I may have got a big investment to the dome.
Well.
You just don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be dome weather next weekend, so yeah, this will start making sense then.
Sportsmanship. We talked about sportsmanship in the mods. Most improved. Looking out there. You talked about Marcus, even though he won the championship last year. I kind of go down that Isaac road again, just because Isaac from last year to this year, I thought he made a big improvement. But you can go down Chris Anderson, Chris Tuchscher made an improvement from last year to this year.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, you're talking about guys that, once again, it's kind of like the stock car deal. There's only
participation.
Yeah. Jason Wallace in 9th, Brady Biella 10th. You're kind of getting down there, and the guys that were only there part-time
weren't able to campaign the full year, right?
The F5, the Tornado, Jared Thielen, once again, I think he would classify it as probably a not improvement year with the Hughes chassis, because he came out with a Hughes chassis.
Again, you guys, you touched on that there. Guys have been in the class for a long time and had some ups and downs, if you will, and when you reflect on those years, then all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe I had it before or something too. So
the biggest one now, once we're done with the modifieds, and you kind of let this stew, it's the biggest award of the year, the driver of the year at the Nodak Speedway. I was fortunate enough to receive it in 2012, a big honor. As far as I'm concerned, that's probably my most pride honor.
What does that mean?
driver of the year, the most accomplishment, the most you put the sportsmanship, you put the accomplishments, the feature wins, the whatever criteria you would make him, put him on the pedestal as the best of the best for the summer of 2023.
Well, I think that's pretty easy.
At the Nodak Speedway.
Yeah. It's got to be Travis Hagen.
Yeah. It's hard to argue with the 14T. I mean, we struggled to think of the last time he didn't win. I mean,
and I think another good way
he's just a wonderful person
to look at that too.
So Travis Hagen, 4 feature wins in 7 nights, 7 top 5s, obviously 7 top 10s if you're in the top 5. So he never finished out of the top 5.
Didn't
4
be enough.
feature wins.
Wow. And again, we got to reflect on it to be the Nodak deal, which he's got covered. But then when you spread out and you put tour talk in there and things like that,
when you spread out,
it
encompass the whole summer. And that's
3 track championships.
That's kind of where I look at it too. You look at the whole
tour
thing.
Runner-up.
I would be a vote for Travis. He's won it before in the past. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to throw some more at you though. Yeah. IMCA Sport Compact champion Chris Yost, 4 wins, 8 top 5s in 8 events. He won 50%. I'm just putting the nominees out there.
Yeah, it doesn't have to necessarily be in the highest class.
Yep.
That's with that said, we got Gabe. Wow.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to Gabe next.
Yeah. Gabe is going to be a name in that conversation also. So,
And then you work down a little further. How can you go? Caden Appelt, 6 wins out of 7 nights, 6 top 5s out of 7 nights. I mean, most feature wins at the Nodak Speedway this year.
Most wins. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. A DNF did him in.
Yep.
So
Kyler Satrin, your champion, 7 top 5s in
3
7
track
events.
Championships again.
3 track championships. Didn't have the
tougher
wins
than
at
dirt.
Nodak. Runner up.
So I mean,
These are the discussions. Let us know in the comments. Who's your
shared
driver?
That you got it in 2012. I got it in 2001, and it's.
How long has that award been going for? Quite a few years. Was it a big deal in 2001?
Oh yeah. It was.
Like it's the plaque that is center when we got our stuff hung out in the garage or the shop or whatever. It is the plaque in the middle, in the center, that everything stems around.
Definitely be a pillar in your achievements for sure.
I think kind of what that means to me is who would the Nodak Speedway, if they were in California speaking with IMCA, and you'd want to say what driver represents your track, and you put the driver of the year. This is the guy that we're most proud of.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Great way to look at it.
The names said are worthy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you have 4 prime candidates.
You do.
I mean, some of the past winners, Travis has got it, Tom Barry has got it, Jason Wall, I think, got it the one year. Who else got it? Trying to think back. Nathan Burke has probably won it a few times.
Yeah.
That's a nice award.
Yeah.
Because that one.
It's always the award that brings up the most debate. The awards above that, you can settle on a most improved or a sportsmanship pretty quickly.
Because you got numbers to back it up.
Because you have numbers.
Yeah.
This is basically all your opinion or your look at it, my look at it, your look at it, and we all look at things differently.
Yeah.
Because I look at it that this
kind of how you sell the sport, how you like say your sportsmanship and stuff like that. Which all of them have got that also, but
to me it's the accomplishments on the track. It's carrying yourself off the track. So here's a debate that comes up every year. Does the driver of the year have to win the championship in his class?
No, because
I would say not.
Or he could be the champion, have the most wins, but be a complete tool, and he ain't gonna get the driver of the year because people don't enjoy being with him.
So you have in the hobby stocks. We're using the hobby stocks. The runner-up, Caden Appelt, did not win the championship. Okay, he is runner-up, but he had the most feature wins.
Right.
I'm
going to include Caden in that because of just the energy of Caden.
The domination. Yeah. Let's call it what it is, the domination at the Nodak Speedway.
When the Tougher Than Dirt came to Minot, we were all excited for that last night because the Travelers hadn't gotten Caden yet.
Yep.
I mean, we wanted to know what that was going to be. So
because Caden is the best of the best in the hobby stocks around here.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 6 out of 7 features
yep.
say that you can't not include him. So again, tougher than dirt. I was excited to see how Caden was going to stack up against the Travelers.
And then you take the complete opposite of that. So you have Caden with the most feature wins, but he didn't win the championship. Kyler, 0 feature wins at Nodak, but I think he had 8 overall throughout the summer.
Yeah.
But 0 at Nodak, just Mr. Consistency.
Got the championship.
It's like,
yeah.
The debates can go on for hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's a heartstring tug.
Yep.
So
then you have Travis Hagen, who did what he did, who my quick math, when I sat there and I went through and figured out if we would have sanctioned Motor Magic, if we would have sanctioned the Williston Fall Roundup, I believe by my math he would have eked out a second in national
points.
Come on, let's sanction this stuff.
Yeah. Well, in the boardroom, it cost, $1,000. So
so then you have him, with the summer Travis had.
Yeah.
And then Gabe, I'm glad I didn't have to make the decision.
Yeah, true. And I don't know the decision, so.
Brian Tigey brings up a guy like Marcus Tomlinson, travels around to every racetrack, carries himself.
Again.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah. When you think of who's going to be at the track, I'm going to run down here and see Marcus will be there. So right.
You guys ready?
You get to announce it?
I get to announce it. CNN breaking news. Kyler got 7th in national points, so you're looking at a guy, so that's another, check it up on
got
Kyler.
A top 10
Kyler.
in national. Yeah. Right.
Breaking news out of the Dakota Speedway. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you ready? IMCA Stock Cars just posted on Facebook. IMCA Stock Cars are joining the Dakota Speedway. They're making the transition from Wissota Street Stocks to IMCA Stock Cars in the 2024 race season.
Well, that ruins our plans for what we had talked about then.
What were we talking about?
About you racing weekly with the Wissota Street Stock down there.
Yeah, that kind of Jason Berg and I have been kind of going back and forth here, and that was exactly brought up.
Wow.
So breaking news.
She's out on the WWW?
Well, your weekend just got busier, Jordan.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, like I say, we're going to be a few nights in there in Underwood. We're going to need some Fridays. So
that is huge. I can't believe the Dirt Weekly world ain't going nuts yet. Where are the comments at? Oh, my God, pull out your hair.
So tell me, what does that mean then? So Wissota Streets
it means there'll be a transition year. I don't have the exact answer what the transition year will look like. I believe you have to run IMCA tires on the rear, and you can't run the 4-barrel on the crate or the 4-barrel on the concept. I believe they're making them switch it over to the 2-barrel.
Everybody be on that 500 Holly.
On the 500 Holly.
Hunter Damagala was sniffing this out.
Well, the rumblings were real. I'm telling you, the rumblings were real.
Woo!
At Oktoberfest, that there was 6 guys that supposedly had them. There was another 5 more that were willing to make the purchase. The rumblings were real.
You talked about that.
That there could be 10+ local cars down there, plus then the Minot guys going down. And this should only help Minot or Nodak.
Yeah.
The track that it's going to hurt, that concerns us, is Underwood.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need a lot of Fridays, but we do need a few. So we got our fair and we got our. Yeah.
Now we got everybody going here. They need IMCA hobbies as well. One step at a time.
But it only makes sense. You got the IMCA modifieds. Everyone else is running IMCA stock cars.
Yeah, I was surprised to see this spring out before the Wissota National get together because the complaint was the transmission, and who knows, that may change. And the Wissota purist, I mean, they like what they got. So
the drivers that have Wissota Streets right now, they can convert it. It isn't.
I don't know if they would convert it. Some of them might not be able to convert it because I think they
might be a wrong roll cage.
Wrong roll cage.
Yeah,
that's
might
what
be
I
an
was
inch and a half cage. IMCA's got to be an 1 3/4 main hoop cage, so they might not.
Some of
be
the
that
Wissota
easy.
cars are 1.5 inches.
Yeah, because I know that was a modified problem there too.
what they can do for the first summer for this year and maybe a couple summers to beyond is that transition. I think they allow a 1-year transition or maybe even a 2.
They'll be flexible, whatever it takes to get it going.
Yep.
So interesting.
That is big news.
It's kind of like on Hee Haw there, the typewriter sound.
Oh, man.
Hee Haw.
I was going to say.
Oh, dang. No distractions. Stay focused.
Boy, when we started talking about that, our viewership went up.
The Gabe DeShaw world is like, hee haw. What's he talking about?
It's that horse that talks.
Yeah, another great show.
Bruce Rutland says, Jamestown, it's your turn. One domino, you may see it over there as well. I think Jamestown's going to wait a year, maybe not. They're going to try to capitalize on maybe those Soda guys not supporting Mandan going to Jamestown.
Yeah, I don't know what that Cheyenne-Lisbon deal's got going on, but that's going to be the connection for them. So I think every track needs a partner. 2 is even better, but
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's running around rampant now.
Fire.
What I like about it is Dakota Speedway posts at the bottom, our next general membership meeting is Thursday, November 9th. So if you have complaints, come there.
You got 3 weeks to cool off or heat up or woo.
Yeah, where do we go from there?
Wow.
That was Fear the Rear award talk at the Nodak Speedway Banquet. We feared the rear and we did the tour. We're going to shuffle around some of these sponsors, guys, to kind of get everybody in. Texas Red Dome talk is next. What about that, huh?
Before you finish on that, don't forget we have Underwood Awards.
Oh, yes,
too,
Underwood Awards. Yeah. Should we roll through them?
I don't know we need to do individual per se, but just to be clear again that Underwood is Nodak's been gracious enough to invite us back or allow us back, and we appreciate it.
My apologies, because after Driver of the Year is announced, they're going to live auction off 5 more pairs of gloves.
Okay, the final 5.
The final 5.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to roll through the McLean County Speedway, because we're going to give everybody kind of a little bathroom break, 10 to 15-minute bathroom break to stretch your legs a little bit. Get refueled, get back sat down. We'll roll through the McLean County Speedway Awards.
Okay.
If Marcus is wondering, I have everything all set up here, but he can hobby stock runner-up Kyler Satrin. They switch. Hobby stock champion Caden Appelt.
Yeah.
Sport mod Christopher Zenz. Runner-up Brock Beater champion. Stock car runner-up Bob Fugman. Will Shareski is your champion. And then INEX Legends Dustin Hagen is the runner-up, and Cole Slaybaugh is the champion.
Cool.
So we'll run through them. McLean County Speedway.
We'll have awards, and
we'll have them awards, and then they're going to close. They're going to close some of the silent auction stuff roughly in there somewhere. Kind of see how it's going.
We got the Dice Oval Track game going on.
Yeah, we're going to roll the draw for the gloves. We're going to do the gloves first. And everybody go up and choose their glove right after the McLean Awards. That'll be kind of the first thing. We'll do the glove thing.
Okay.
And then there's a live auction for a certificate for a $1,200 Velocita race suit.
Wow.
That's going to be right after that. Fully unlimited custom race suit will be auctioned off.
All the bells and whistles.
Yes. And then we will do the live auction for the car game at the end of the night. So might get to be a little bit of a long night, but stick around, drink some adult beverages.
I've been to plenty of Nodak banquets, and 1 o'clock wasn't late enough, so.
The live auction, the car game is a unique game that we came up with a few years ago. You actually buy a car, and you put it on a track, and there's 6 cars that are sold. The money, if there's $200 per car, so that gives you $1,200. $600 goes to the racetrack Nodak, and $600 goes to the winner.
Like a 50-50.
Like a 50-50. And those 6 people that bought the cars stand on the stage, and they roll dice. And 1 through 6, if it lands on whatever, if you have number 1, you have number 2, I have number 3, you roll a number 3, my car moves 1 spot. If you roll a number 1, his car moves 1 spot. You know, you're going to move your competitors' cars around the board. Well, the first one to make a full lap around the board is the winner.
Yeah.
It gets entertaining because by that time of the night, everybody has enough
fuel
in them.
So,
the dice game gets fun.
Dice game gets fun. So
then they'll start wrapping up everything at that point of the night.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of stuff going on, and it is. So
yes,
even at starting at 7, I mean, like I say, we got 2 tracks with awards. We got 6 people with Hall of Fame stuff. So
don't even need to wait for the sun to go down.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be down during social hour. So, yeah.
Some of the changes this year with us not cooking outside, the smoking is going to be. You're going to have to go out the front door because they don't want people going in and out the back door for the smokers. Just some different changes that are going to go on. Just trying to keep people going the right direction in there, get the wristband on them. And
we shared that it was going to be in a bigger room.
FFA room.
So which is the L-shaped room of the car show.
Yep.
Where the RC cars are, the snowmobiles are, the motorcycles are. That room, which is big.
Yep.
That's big. So.
And the little, if you're a member, the card that was sent out in the mail reminding you of the banquet, it says the wrong room on there, but you will find it because FFA is on the way to the theater,
room of last year. Yeah. Yeah, so
because they made the change, I think, just a couple weeks ago to that FFA, or maybe they made it sooner. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
you're sharing on here that Smalls, you stepped her up to the
bigger
there
room
because it wasn't too big last year, and it has the potential this year. So,
yeah.
A couple of clarifications. Are all tickets to be purchased at the door?
At the door.
At the door. Okay, there's nothing in advance. So
$30 for adults.
My brother Jed had that question, and
yep, purchased at the door. $30 for adults. I think there's a kid ticket in there, $10 or $15 for
sound like
kids.
The Hall of Fame stuff had some reservation stuff. I'm going to get a hold of Katie. I think we got a 10, 11, 12 head count for my group. So, and I would imagine that
2 tables.
Nathan and Wayne and everybody else going to have that similar deal. So, I guess this is our announcement to get a hold of Katie and let her know what you're thinking, so she isn't scrambled eggs trying to set you up at 5:50 on Saturday. So I will get a hold of you tomorrow, Katie. Again, I'm 10, 12 deep. So
Mark Weiskopf must have listened in at the beginning. Says thank you for promoting his.
Mark.
His
I mean, that's just fast stuff. Give us a text back. Are you going north of 100? Because I mean, that thing is just wicked fast. So, and the Badger Racing one was too. Bill's snowmobile there. Yeah, you guys find each other at the end of the day. Good stuff there.
Then when we wrap up the banquet on Saturday night, we all go home and go to bed. You get up the next day. The big one. The big one.
The big one.
1 o'clock on Sunday at the Clarion is the Nodak Speedway elections. It's always the day after the banquet at 1 o'clock.
It always has been, regardless of how good or not good you feel.
Yep.
So save a little for that.
And then.
So what's up? What are open?
Yeah.
What are open? I figured
because
you were
it's
going to ask
staggered
that.
now.
So there's a 7-person board, and there's always 4 positions open every year. That's kind of the changes we made a little bit while I was on the board. I was one that kind of pushed keeping.
And the officers are 2-year terms staggered. So So Smallsy's on board for another year.
Smalls is on board for another year.
It's a true character builder. You're doing good, Smalls. I've never been the president, just a board member. So
he's learning real quick. So the board positions that are up this year,
Smallsy.
Justin Medler still has 1 year left on his term. Robbie Roselli, he hasn't reached his 6-year term limit yet. So his position is up, vice president, but Robbie can run again.
He's still eligible.
He's still eligible to run again because 6 years is the term limit. So last year, I did my 6th year as president. I was done. They had to put somebody
forever.
No, 1 year off the board. No. In my mind, forever.
Hope and reality don't always go together.
So there's 7 people on the board.
7 board members.
That's it.
4 officers and 3 board members.
So to make a decision like what Dakota Speedway did, if Nodak would have to do it, you'd have to have 4 votes.
So the Nodak Speedway bylaws were changed. I don't know when they were changed, but the class changes, racing class changes, have to be done at a general membership meeting, and you have to have 2/3 of the majority vote at a general membership meeting.
So it's not the board that it's the general.
Well, I don't
members.
know how Mandan does it, but the way that it was changed, I think the bylaws got changed around 2012 when they brought the sport mods in. There was a change in there somewhere because I got the most up-to-date recent ones.
Because it seems a little bit odd to have 4 guys on the board making a decision for what are there 30 Wissota streets.
Sometimes it's way clearer having 4 people make the decision.
Yeah.
When you get muddied into a room with 100 people. Ooh.
Well, I'm with Craig. I mean, it certainly is a financial mountain for some teams, and I'm confident they'll get through it one way or another. But nonetheless, I don't believe that they've had a board member since Oktoberfest, and that's when the talk got really going. So I don't know what I think there. Well, it seems to be clear that the board must have been able to make that decision.
They have general meetings down there, I think, once a month.
Generals, okay.
General meetings once a month.
I better be quiet then, because like I say, we all do it differently, and so
Nodak for years, Nodak has had 2 general membership meetings, one in the fall and then one in the spring, and it also states in the bylaws at Nodak that I think by the end of the calendar year. If we make a class change, you can't make it after January 1st or after December 31st. And that's just to let everybody plan for the next year.
Yeah. And that again, that sounds logical. So,
So usually all class changes are done at Nodak at the election meeting.
So if Jed wants to get mod lights in, he's got to get on it.
He's got to get on it. Okay. Get your petition signed, Jed. And
he must not be listening. I haven't heard no chirping.
He is. There was a ton of comments that came in here.
Okay. Actually, I was asking the ticket information because he asked me today, and I didn't know the answer.
All available
for sure,
at the door.
So, okay.
Jed said, well, add mod lights then too.
See? Well, you're going to have to get on your campaigning hat and see how well you can do on Sunday. Maybe you need to be a board member just to make sure. Not to make sure. I shouldn't say it that way. Just to be influential. That doesn't make sure of anything.
So vice president is up for re-election. Secretary Colleen Birch has 1 year left. So president and secretary on the same rotation.
Okay.
The same 2-year rotation.
So Colleen and Justin are in, are staying.
Vice president and treasurer on the same rotation. So Kelly Birch, the treasurer, his position is up for re-election.
Okay. And he hasn't termed out yet.
No, he has not. I think he finished. Boy.
And so how do you run
year
against?
4, I believe he finished.
The incumbent. Are they announced that, hey, Jimmy's running against Robbie, or they take nominations Sunday?
Take nominations Sunday.
Nominations on
you have
Sunday.
To be a member in good standing. Which is pretty loose. I mean, we let Smalls be president. Love you, Smalls.
You said it. I didn't.
Member in good standing.
Good standings.
And then you get nominated there. Usually you're asked. So, like, if they go, Craig Heupel, I nominate you for vice president. Do you accept the nomination? If you say no, then you're done at that point. You don't have to worry about it. If you say yes, and then somebody will second it, Jordan will second it. If I nominate, Jordan will second it.
Then the room approves with a majority.
And then if somebody runs against you, usually we have you give like, hey, Craig, give a little speech or give a little something that you may bring to the Nodak Speedway.
A little bit of credibility.
What can you? What's your offerings? What do you?
Yeah. What are you
fixing or what are you promoting? And that's all right too. Not everybody knows everybody in the room, so. My experience has been that there's not a lot of pool of people that want to do this. So
then on the
but it has to be done.
So you have the 4 officers, then the 3 board positions, 2 year. So 2 of them are 2-year positions. So one of the 2-year comes up every year, or they will alternate years. So Rick Huber is in that 2-year position. His term is up.
There's 2 2-year staggered.
Yep, 2 2-year staggered,
and then a 1 year.
Yep.
And we have that in Underwood also. And the 1-year deal is nice because it gives you a chance to get in there and then decide if this is something that you're cut out for. We actually got 2 of them last year. We changed our deal on the run because we had 2 young people get involved, and we thought that was good for our present and future in Underwood, and it is.
So Rick Huber's position is open. That's going to be not open. Rick, it's just that position is up for re-election.
Rick is still eligible to continue to go forward. So
I believe he's on year 4 as well. I could be wrong on some of these.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So
I know I should know because I served with these guys for so long, but
it's hard to remember what year you're in when you're thinking about that.
Yes. Scott Jern has 1 year left on his 2-year term, so he'll be up next year.
Is this a big concern? Does this create anxiety for someone like Justin Medler?
There is years. I hear no rumblings. So
last year there was a lot of anxiety last year because it was just so uncertain.
Because you were termed out.
I was termed out, so there's nothing that I could do. As soon as
so there was no sticking you back in and calling it a day.
The only way that it could have stuck me back in is if nobody would have ran. Nobody got nominated. Nobody would have ran. As soon as
did Smalls know that beforehand? just talking, Justin. You're doing great, but I'm saying nobody usually wants to do that. So.
That was the only way I could be in there. But once somebody, so as Roy Miller got nominated, then Justin Medler got nominated. That counted me out at that point.
Somebody was going to get it.
Somebody was going to get it, and I wasn't allowed to run for any board position for 1 year. It's a good rule to have because it allows me to take a step back. I have no intentions or plans of getting back on the board anytime soon. There's nothing wrong with the board.
No.
I did my time.
You've done some time. So I'm only comparing us to each other. But you were the president, so that is a 2-to-1 ratio. So maybe 3.
And then Chris Tucher was the 1 year board position. Now this is where Chris fits into that 1 year.
Yeah.
Got in, got his feet wet, can decide if he wants to go further along, maybe up.
He was working on some contributions to the game, so
yep.
He come in with some energy and
maybe he moves up to that 2-year spot.
Yeah.
Maybe he moves up to a vice president position. This is where that 1 year term gets your foot in the door.
Yeah.
So what does?
Yeah, I like it for that reason. That's a great example.
What was Chris's position last year?
Just a 1 year board position.
Okay, so say, what would be enticing him to want to be the vice president? What more power do you have? What's that got?
I don't know. I
suppose really, there's no position
it's got
that has
same
more
voting
power
as in one.
You may have a little bit more responsibility as vice president because you have to assist the president. You have to do a little bit more of like a board member can bring the ideas, can do some of the research on the ideas, but they're not in the middle of maybe the insurances, signing the insurance paperwork, signing the bank account, because when the president is in there, the vice president has to be able to basically do what he does.
Setting down with the fair and hammering out that contract.
Hammering out fair contracts.
Yeah, you're going to be more involved in that, or expected to be. I think when cancellations are talk of the day, I think that the president, vice president's opinion is
carry a little bit more.
Yeah, because they have that title.
Yeah,
and.
But at the same time, the voting power.
The vote is.
Vote means the same, no matter what position you're in.
Yeah. Chris has a 1 year had the same voting power as Robbie has had as a multiple year vice president. So
the position that is the most powerless is the president.
It's kind of like playing chess. The king moves the least.
Yep.
But he owns your team.
But you're the face.
But you're the face.
You're the face of what's going on.
Yeah.
You're at the mercy of. What is the board going to vote? There's many. I tell stories. There were several times I left the board meeting not liking what was voted on and decided on, but I had to swallow it and get up the next morning and go, okay, we're going in this direction. We're selling it, and I'm 100% on board.
Yeah.
Like you're doing with this Wissota Street deal.
I've already got Jason Berg saying, well, I can switch the car to a stock car anytime you want.
And you've already tickled the driving seat of one, so Brock. So
last week we're
rolling.
We had our plan all set.
Oh, my.
That's what you get for making plans.
Well, just to touch on this election stuff, and we had touched on it in Williston here, about Williston a few weeks back, and this is as we called it, banquet touring season. It's also, for many, it's also election season. And again, while we're refueling, let's express what we want, hope, and need.
So here's my message. You have to be a member to vote. You have to be a member to nominate. You have to be a member to be nominated, to be even up for a position. And you have to be in good standing. Non-members can come and watch what goes on. This can be a really good place to dip your toes. If you're a fan, Craig Heupel, if you're a fan, this is a super good place to dip your toes into maybe what's going on behind the scenes. Do I want to be more involved? Is there something that I think can be improved?
Can I bring something to the table with my environment?
And you are allowed to speak as a non-member. If you go in there as a non-member, you go in there and you raise your hand just like everybody else, and you give your opinion. Now, when it comes to voting, you don't have any vote.
Yeah, that's true. You can suggest some great ideas. You can't vote on them at this point. But
are there any motions, anything that are going to be voted on at this other than electing?
Other than positions? I would say,
as far as I'm concerned, no.
Yeah, usually.
They always
recent history has been just getting the people figured out.
Yep. You're going to get the state of the track. The state of the track is usually not necessarily the dirt state of the track, but just the state of the track. We give you an update, what machinery we have, what needs fixing, what our relationship with the state fair, what is our talks with the state fair. There's a list of 30 things that you can run over in the state of the track, and then you go into the financials with the state of the track just ties right into the financials because they'll get you get a financial report, you walk in. If you want a copy of it, you can get a breakdown of every race night, dollar and cent for the whole summer, stuff like that.
Non-members get that as well.
Technically, we're not supposed to give it to non-members, but really it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's nothing to hide.
Yeah, there's zero to hide on that stuff. So, but technically, you're supposed to be a member to.
And I'm just gonna address that a little bit. And I think some of the reason for that is that without being a member, in other words, a membership, when you purchase a membership, you should have a little bit more understanding than just a casual observer.
Correct.
So at that point, when you start reading into some of that stuff, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that water truck stuff is this price because, well, of course they have to water the track. I know that seems obvious to us, but as a casual observer, you're like, what do you need 4 water trucks for? Well, because when 2 of them break down, it's 105 degrees out. We need them.
Well, and
you know what I mean.
You're going to hear things at this.
Things like I'm just grabbing at that and making it up. But
state of the track, you're going to hear things. Financial report, you're going to hear things like they spent $10,000 on diesel fuel this summer. Yeah, those are numbers that.
Yeah, you're like,
the average race
10
fan.
grand. My pickup had run on that for 8 years. Well, this thing's a big thing.
Those are big numbers. They spend X amount of dollars on insurance every year. It's a crazy number because we have to have the right insurance. Rent.
Electricity.
This stuff is.
Where does this come from?
And then
that's why we want full grandstands.
And then when you get to the purse aspect of it, when you get down, like they break down on the financials, the modified purse for the whole year was X amount of dollars. X amount of dollars for stock car. And you're going to look at that number and you're going to go, that's a lot of groceries. That's a lot of hot dog sales at the Dome to pay this.
That is 80% of the cost of the game. So, yeah, it really is.
So you're going to get a lot of that information. And I really, 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 we don't need necessarily people to come in there and cause hate and discontent and say, my driver got screwed. You guys suck at running a racetrack. That's not what this meeting needs to be. We need a productive meeting.
Yeah.
And we need people to come in that care about the sport, not necessarily an individual racer. I talk about it all the time. The board have to put on a hat every Sunday that they're caring about 2,500 people, not one.
It is interesting, being in business, working with money management, stuff like that. The health of the Nodak Speedway is kind of in the flux of this vote.
Not really.
Potential.
Potentially.
It hasn't shown that recently, but it has had moments. It has had moments.
I feel confident with the 3 people that are going to remain on the board. The 3 remaining board members that are going to be there no matter what, no matter how the vote goes. There's 3 remaining board members there.
Yeah.
That there is enough things set in place that the board put in place over the years that I was on the board, and we've put things in order and in place that that it's going to be hard to screw that up.
Is there?
That's kind of what.
That's fair. That's fair. You're trying to protect your long nights of conversation so that this doesn't get just thrown off to the side because somebody had never been to one and doesn't think it's right when it does have a lot of thinking behind it.
Because you have the potential to get somebody brand new in there. Let's say you roll in there. I'm just using you as an example. You roll in there and you're vice president. You're saying, nope, I don't need that 1 year dip at the toes. I'm going vice president right away. Well, that has the potential of disrupting everything that's going on. Because you're going to roll in there and you're going to say, well, why do we do it that way? Why do we do it that way? Why do we do it that way? Why is this done this way? Why is this? Why is this? You're going to have all the whys. And with them 3 board members that are going to be there, no matter what, them 3 are there, they can explain the why. They can. They have an understanding of the why, and can explain it.
Yeah, right.
Because there's reasons why you go into Nodak race season with X amount of dollars in the bank account, and you don't spend it all on popsicles and whatever. ESPN even did breaking news for the Dakota Speedway thing.
I was just thinking about there's no
ESPN.
There's no ability to hijack the Nodak Speedway is what I'm thinking about. Some guy in their group come in.
The scary part is this year there is. This is the 1 year that there is because the president is not up for election. So the president doesn't hold a vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3 that are remaining technically only count as 2 votes.
Only count as 2. Yeah.
So you have 4 board members up for election that count as 4 votes. So if you got somebody's group in there, if somebody walked in there with 4 people, they could take the majority of the board. Mm-hmm. And they could vote things through. That's what gets scary.
Yeah. That's what I was...
You know.
I'm going to go back a little farther in reflection of right where we're at, because in my days, the 4 officers... And we had 5 board members at the time. We were a 9 deal.
Yep.
But nonetheless, of those 5, I believe 3 were voted on annually. So the 4 office positions were up every year. There wasn't the 2-year stagger. I like the 2-year stagger because it does
keeps
lend stability. But I don't. Yeah, we don't have the volatility that I think we had maybe in the 90s. But if somebody didn't like what we were doing and had enough friends and had the right membership, I mean, they come in and roll, 7 people over, change the whole face of it. And as I've said, you can have an opinion, but once you're in the boardroom, the failure of this is on your back. You will make smart decisions, regardless of what your friends tell you. You will do things to protect your checkbook. So, if a rogue group come in there and didn't really care about the history, and I'll reflect on the, we're approaching almost 75 years of the history. If you have no emotions for that, you may just come in with an agenda, blow the place up for a year, and leave because you can. You could have. Where, again, we're everybody's always looking around and seeing if there's any, smoke on the horizon type of deal. If there's, any groups coming, I don't know why there would be. Everything's seemingly awful good, but again, there was years when it wasn't, and maybe people wanted a different kind of racing or different classes, and if they stormed the boardroom, they could get their way.
A lot of conversation of turning the track into the figure 8 type racing.
Well, I mean, if there was 50 guys in town that wanted to do that, that would be a real concern. I mean, if you want to uphold what we're doing, you gotta represent.
And as he said, history. My concern always has been the 75-year history of the Nodak Speedway is a big concern because I was not going to let it die on my watch. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I say that. You can have an opinion.
But you once you get on that board, the 7 people that are on that board, you're going to go into every meeting not letting it die on your watch.
Yeah.
My bigger concern, the 75 years is but biggest is the recent 5 to 10 year history. And the only reason why I say that is because things have been built and relationships have been built that can be tore down in the matter of seconds. Mm-hmm. A relationship with Craig Rudlin at the State Fair that Ron Hiddle started, then I carried, and now Justin Medler has done a fantastic job at taking that torch and continuing that relationship.
Because as supportive surroundings, you've went in there together.
Yes, because
and
Smalls and I went in together, introduced them. The first handful of meetings between the fair and Nodak, I was involved in. The first handful of meetings that Ron Hiddle transitioned it to me, Ron Hiddle was involved in. And Ron Hiddle still is involved with the State Fair just because there's a relationship there. I'm still involved. Craig calls me anytime, not necessarily Nodak related or all the time Nodak, but there's still a relationship there.
Yeah.
If they come in, if there's a rogue group that come in 4 people, that could get destroyed in one phone call or one conversation. And I'm helpless.
Yeah.
We're all helpless. And it's more than just a state fair. It's the Fireworks Association. Yeah. It's the M&S concessions relationship. It's the
biggie to the state fair is that you're subcontracting the dirt events.
Yep.
You get 2 days. I mean.
Yeah, the North Dakota State Fair itself.
That's huge to them, and they want to make sure they got.
You
like
have
you say,
to have your ducks in a row.
Even outside of the board, you have a relationship with them, and that's just part of being a great person in the community.
And I missed Jeff Barta. Jeff Barta was in on some of these conversations when I was first getting on the board, and then continued through the years. Jeff Barta is huge for that relationship at the state fair. If somebody comes in and pisses Jeff off and he decides to walk, hold
lost
the
a
phone.
leg.
You lost. Yeah, you know. Yeah. It's concerning in that aspect. Because the future of the Nodak Speedway is technically right in front of them. And they could come in not with the intentions of upsetting the fair.
Yeah.
They would never have them intentions. But their mindset and their agenda, the way they go about achieving that agenda, will or could upset the fair. You know, we're going to race Tuesdays at 5 p.m. The fair says, no, you're not.
I mean,
or we're going to race Saturdays at noon.
Right.
No, you're not, because the Drake Strip is racing, and we don't want to have crossover there. You know, it's.
And the fair board would be like, why are they asking these kind of questions? They know better. Well,
exactly,
because it ain't that group.
It
needs to be that group.
The biggest one that gets hammered on the table with a fist just about every year is concession money. Nodak doesn't get any concession money. Well, the biggest thing that everybody hammers is, I'm going to go in there and get that concession money. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah. No, you're not. That is the answer.
No, you're not.
Maybe somewhere, not here. That's not happening here.
The relationship between fair, M&S, Nodak Speedway, whether there's money exchanged or not, Nodak is able to be financially viable without
concessions.
Without concessions. People blow their mind when they hear that.
Promoters meetings say it can't be done, and it still is.
But we're able to do it, and the relationship is strong. Them guys at M&S, they text me on race day still or whatever, you know, just a quick update. I see them out and about in the public. We have conversations. Yeah. It's, you know.
Yeah.
Those are the things that concern you, because if the wrong 4 people somebody comes in there with all 4 board members, you go to the first board meeting, and shit goes sideways. Sorry, I swore. Things go sideways in a hurry, and the 3 remaining board members, knowing they're powerless, because at that point you know you're powerless.
Yeah, you know the score right on the run.
You sign your resignation letter right there, and you leave them 4 to do what they're doing.
I can't go forward with this. We're 2 worlds apart. Maybe oceans separating us. Yeah.
That's the concerning part. We have went down a rabbit hole here with the board stuff. I hope we have 28 viewers that have heard
a little
this.
Sideways again, but again, it's just reflecting what, you know, and at the same time we're painting this as gloom and doom, and it isn't.
It is not. There's no talk of that.
Nonetheless, like our founding fathers, they want to make sure that the country lives forever, and that's what we want to. I mean, we watch it in our national politics, and we roll our eyes because we only understand what we see. We're not in the room, so we don't understand the fights they're having or the struggles they're having. So, and we just want the same thing for our sports. So, again, my experience says that I'm sensing everything's running along, singing a song, so we're good. But we want Williston to
be
get
the same
these
way.
people. Yeah, they're not even. We're trying to protect it with the people we have. They need to have those people to protect what they have. I mean, they're having a heck of a time just getting, the ground level.
Well, the vote it's an exciting time.
But
a little bit apprehensive too.
Very much so.
Just like the country, everyone's looking
it
forward
is very
to
much like the country.
2024, excited, but hey, what's going to happen?
That's right.
I truly believe.
You hope it goes better, at least in your eyes, and it might not.
I truly believe that this is maybe the first doing what we just did on the show here, because you didn't know anything that we just talked about, and I would say a majority of the people out there, they don't have an understanding of what we just talked about in a boardroom and that stuff. It's something as simple as Jed Boyce decides he wants mod lights, so he's going to get on the board for mod lights. He realizes really quickly him being the one person on the board that wants mod lights ain't going to get him anywhere.
Ain't going to get him anywhere. Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
That gets you nowhere.
It might make sense 3-4 years down the road when you can bring, you could just show what they are once a year or something. But
and that's the biggest thing.
It's a long planting.
If you want something, if you want Nodak Speedway to do something, if you think we're doing it wrong or you want something changed or you want a class brought in, lay out the plan.
Yeah.
Come up with the plan that you want to bring mod lights in once next year. Well, we'll see what car counts are, and maybe in the next year we'll go 2. But you have to prove to the fans. The biggest thing is people forget. You have to prove to the fans that your class that you want to bring in is worthy.
Yeah. We've watched slingshots race around us.
Yes.
But they didn't fit in with us. But now they do for times.
Yep.
So that's a perfect example. So
yep.
We have the trophy class in Underwood. It's nowhere else, but it fits in well for us.
I think this could have been related with the hot sauce spicy topic, too.
I do. I definitely think so. Politics are always spicy.
Isaac, that's your spicy topic.
Yeah.
Before we go to Dome Talk, before I play the Texas Red commercial, I got a question from a fan out there for Jorn Boyce.
Uh-oh.
Here we go, Travis. Travis Hagen, the dark horse.
Uh-oh. Trav.
Question for Jorn. How do you believe the switch in Mandan to stock cars will change the landscape of stock car racing in western North Dakota? Good, bad, indifferent?
I
think he's talking car count wise, maybe.
Well, and Trav's been board member too, so we are going to extend a little board talk. Without trying to be too public about it, my first scare is my beloved Underwood, because we're on Friday nights. I mean, the first thing that struck me, and I think I even said something as soon as we had breaking news, was we've been a staunch IMCA supporter for a number of years, and there's just some Fridays we need to have. We don't need them all, and we don't even need a lot, but we do need some. So I need stock cars at the fair. I need stock cars. You know what I'm saying? So I need stock cars at the Cole County Classic, and I think that's their monster truck weekend. But so that's going to be what I do right off, because we're going to be the nearest track affected. What do I think after that? Well, we see Mark and Sean having that one car there, so we had it a couple of times here in Minot. With them having their Friday, does one of those two decide they need to race up here on Sunday nights? I mean, that seems maybe likely. If we can get around that Underwood deal to where it doesn't hurt either side, I foresee the Underwood cars as maybe heading that way on Friday. With that said, and this is your question, Travis, what does that do to the people that have been racing in Williston and Estevan? Can they get their fill with a Mandan and a Minot and not go west or north? That is going to be a real question. It's a class that doesn't travel too much the way it is, and now they have another place to go. I see that hurting Williston and Estevan.
I do too.
Because Friday and Sunday is a day off, and then Saturday's not.
What about this though? Right now, if you can, the best example is the IMCA modifieds. We don't get a lot of Mandan mods in Minot.
True.
We don't get a lot of them run into Williston or Estevan.
Yeah. So, well, with that said, what is and I was a little critical of this when Mandan got excited about this at Oktoberfest, because it was the only show in the state.
Yep.
And I said at the time, this will not happen at weekly racing, because Fargo's on the same night. So, I mean, I'm not sure where, outside of their own people that have, there's a half a dozen that we shared that want to make the switch. And I get it, but we just got over a year that struggled with getting 10 cars at any track. And Underwood had the biggest stock car average car count in the state, or in this end.
Yeah.
So, but you're right, Craig. I mean, we do have the modifieds, and that doesn't seem to have any effect. So, certainly, I hope our group doesn't leave us.
Dakota Speedway, they have their Wissota streets right now. They must have kind of put some numbers to it. How many do you think they're going to get to switch over to IMCA? So
I think as a transition year, I think they get them all. because that's the transition sell.
20%.
Yeah, stick with it. Because after that, if you got to get we talked about the cage differences and stuff like that. If you get to a point where you've got to get a whole different car, yeah, the legends are awful attractive. I mean, and us older people are not subjected to, complete inventory overhaul. So, going to probably change to a lesser price class maybe. But no, Travis, that is a great question. And again, we're going to have this fall meeting of our own, hopefully around that Thanksgiving weekend, and that's going to be a viable question. So, I guess I'm going to be optimistic and say that what Williston and Estevan have been getting will probably stay the same. But I mean, some new guys, there's just some guys in Minot that aren't going there that may go to Mandan. But if we weren't getting them in Williston and Estevan, it's not really a loss. But all of a sudden they are going somewhere else beside Minot. Yeah, it's a concern.
It's a concern. I see the appeal of that Mandan Friday, Minot Sunday thing, because you can have a life outside of racing a little bit on a Saturday.
Yeah, you can.
You don't have to worry about running west. That Friday night deal, if you have a lake cabin or a camper or something, you have family down at Sakakawea, you race on Friday. You get to spend Saturday at the lake, Saturday night, come home Sunday, race on Sunday night. The appeal is there. Not everybody's wired like us.
To do everything.
Like
Marcus. and a couple of other of us. So, but nonetheless, and that's kind of been our little niche with Underwood too.
Yep.
And the tracks have all been very, very good working together. You were very vocal about it with the Cole County Classic. You didn't want to reschedule over the Oktoberfest or the Stampede.
Yeah.
Didn't want to step on someone. So I'm sure Dakota Speedway must have something in mind not to just step on the McLean County Speedway on their Friday nights.
I sure hope so. And especially with being a transition class, I'm not sure what I think.
Definitely a conversation worth having coming up.
It's exactly what boardroom talk is about. It's certainly what our fall meeting is about.
If you think boardrooms are interesting, get in a 8 or 10 track meeting room and be in the middle of that.
As we've shared, last fall went great, and we weren't able to have Estevan involved for 3 years of COVID. So to come out of that and make just a non-conflicting schedule was awesome. And I mean, it rolled out nice. So I think those tracks involved in that will continue that friendship and concerns. But nonetheless, now, I don't get me wrong. I want everybody to be successful. I do. But I don't want it to be at the cost of my beloved Underwood. So
for sure, for sure.
So, but with that said, let's we don't ask for a lot, but we do need something, and let's make that work, and then guys can full-time us and full-time them. That's what I see, and I hope that's what it is. And then the rest of us that travel everywhere will continue to go to our Williston and Estevans and do that too. So, but as I've shared, I'm 60 in February. The old green machine's gonna take a break some year, not next year, but some year. So
nonsense. You got 2 in the stable.
Yeah, I do. But yeah. Well, you mean cars or years? Both.
2 cars. And
cars,
potentially turning the 4J green.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well. I'll have to see what Wayne thinks about that. So he'd have to be involved. He might want to be.
Corey Palm, non-wing sprint car guy. Corey Palm. No matter what happens, we need fans in the stands to help support all these classes.
Yeah, that's important.
I think there's going to be a show dedicated to fan experience, fan talk, that we need to just discuss things from a fan side of things.
I like that because I enjoy this show because Craig has asked some questions or just had some great ideas that I've either overlooked or just haven't been paying attention to in a number of years, and it keeps me on my toes. I like that because we're in this together. We need all of us to do this. So.
The biggest thing when you sit in a boardroom, we'll go back to the boardroom talk just a little bit. When a racer gets on the board, a lot of times his blinders are on to just the racing. And he thinks, nope, the race fans are going to come watch us race no matter what.
Yeah, because I'm there.
Because I'm there.
Yeah, it don't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. at all.
Yeah.
You're fighting in Minot or in your town, Underwood, in Bismarck, in Williston, in Estevan. You're fighting for that entertainment dollar.
Yeah.
Does a family go to the movies or do they go to the Nodak Speedway? Does a family go to the Sabre Dogs or do they go to the Nodak Speedway?
That's exactly right. That's exactly
right. You are fighting for that entertainment dollar. And if you don't put a product out there that's entertaining or a show out there that is a well put together show that somebody would call, hey, I'd come back to this.
Yeah. Right, the I'll come back moment.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
And that's where, in my eyes, that 4th of July was such an important night. And this year worked out really good, having the 5 classes of racing. But I wanted to offer up the 4th of July. My mindset was my regular fans were coming. And this sounds bad because it sounds like I'm taking away from the regular fans. But I wanted to give them 1,500 extra people that came for the fireworks something different, something that maybe they would sink their teeth in and get them to come back once or twice more at the end of the year. That's where the King of the Hills and the Dash for Cash is. Something a little bit different to kind of throw at people.
Yes, yeah. A little bit of variety is okay. We refer to the topless often, the time trial thing.
Yep.
Just the speed of the cars. We still talk about it now. So, yes, things like that. I also was a big proponent in that room of pushing to get the stock cars and the A-mods back on the 4th of July because I felt that the overrun of those people, if that was the only day they came to, they thought that was every night without them, they'd say, well, I don't know. They talk about the tour and all that, but I didn't get to see those cars. So now they got to see those cars on the 4th of July and maybe draw them into the tour a week later.
Yep.
So, and Craig, you have those same discussions at Marketplace. You have your board there. So, again, just trying to be the most attractive game on the day.
I believe the entertainment world runs in cycles. We did the no mod and stock car thing for 4 years. You got it for 4 years. Look what the fair does. The fair changes things up every they change their little slogan every 4 years, or they change this every 4 years. North Dakota State Fair Beyond Compare.
Yeah.
Well, how long was that there? For 4 years.
It's your fair, be there.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
So we did the 4th of July one way for 4 years. Now we'll go back to the standard way of doing things, and maybe in a couple, 3-4 years from now, there'll be another idea for the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. But everybody just needs to there's a bigger picture that everything's going on.
Yeah, and what we did this past year was just kind of the way that weekend fell and went into a Tuesday. Now next year it's going to be on a Wednesday, and it might be too far away to make that kind of sense, and time will tell when we have that meeting. But it worked this year.
I don't think it's going to work this year.
Yeah, it's too far away, too far from the weekend.
And then that Thursday gets, in my mind, that Thursday's really, really close to Saturday start of the mod tour.
Yeah.
That gets dangerous in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 days away is different than a week away, so.
But at the same time, the argument comes back at a person, how many local guys really go on the mod tour anyways?
Well, and that's how we got there.
But how many should?
Yeah.
Well, more should.
More should.
But we can say more should, but I can't tell somebody what to pay or what to spend.
But
I'm a driver that doesn't go on it. It's such a heavy grind financially and physically that it's beyond
just like you talked about
presentation.
How to get it there, all of your different ideas, the King of the Hill, the time trials. How do we get guys like you to be on the tour? Because as a fan, I want you there.
Yeah. It's like I say, that's how we make a 15-minute conversation into an all-nighter. I mean, because if you talk about it long enough, you'll catch something that actually does make sense, and it'll take off. So.
Yeah. That's how we can roll a non-racing show. We didn't have any racing last weekend, and we're rolling on 2 hours.
Golly. I knew it was going to happen.
We need to start having betting odds on the Dirt Weekly. Over-under on...
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Post banquet that'll be a long one. That one's going to be fun.
The stories from the banquet.
Does Nodak have the banquet booked well into the wee hours of Sunday morning?
I think it can go till I think bar closing time, as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But usually by 11 o'clock, things have wrapped up quite a bit, and the bar party has moved to a bootleggers or a rockin' horse or
the younger crowd's moved on.
And the old crowd has kind of went home and went to bed.
So maybe the Conway's going to be reserved for the horse. Is that what you're thinking?
Well. Yeah, we better see what the entertainment is. Put in our request.
I'm almost sold on this whole going to steal Nick Hulberg's DJ equipment and maybe having the karaoke for him going.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah.
What's more entertaining?
You have to have a lot of fuel.
Jordan Boyce wheel a stock car or sing Conway Twitty?
I don't know about singing.
I know there was talk about the green suit, but you're going to have to be wearing your jeans that night.
Hey, let's talk about protocol and what are we wearing? Because my family's dressing up. So I hope that's not out of place.
I'm going to have a nice pair of jeans on, and I'm going to have a button-up shirt with my blazer over.
With your blazer over, okay, yeah.
Not the pink one. I'm just going to have the standard black one.
Yeah.
I don't want to steal the show from anybody. I want to be.
Yeah, I might be a little bit more than that. I might have.
Well, you deserve to be.
On too,
you deserve to be.
But I just want to make sure I'm not the only one.
Well, bring a pair of jeans for your song.
I better call up Wayner and make sure he's dressed up.
Your quick change.
Yeah. Well, I told Tina, maybe we got to do a couple of change-outs here.
Wardrobe changes.
She just gave me the raised eyebrow, and I think I'm on my own. So, but I'm excited. My kids are coming and all that there, and of course my parents will be there. Jed and Tanya and Damon are coming. We're hoping Sydney can make it. In Austin maybe. So she's continuing in her education with UND in nursing. So we're not quite sure how that's going to fall. So she's driving back and forth. But and then I've got some friends that want to be there for sure, and it'll be a big moment. I haven't wrote nothing down yet. I don't know. I better. You guys got me all nervous here now. So I don't want to forget anything.
When you
what do we want out of the Hall of Fame? We want to talk about specific races or just good times or
good times throughout the year, all your memories throughout the years. You can reference Wayne and your memories together, starting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, and I
thought Hank did a nice job last year.
I like your stories about John. Your connection there.
Good times with John. I referred to him on so many things. He taught me so many things, and I'm forever grateful for that. So, yes.
What it turns into a lot of times is when you tell one story or you kind of tell, then it goes into another and another and another.
Well, with Mike Coughlin going in, and you talk about John's stories, holy smokes, and Wayne worked for him, so, oh, man, that could be a party all of its own. So, we'll see how that fire burns. That might take right off.
Might have to have a second wireless mic or something that I can sit in the back, and if he goes after 3 minutes up there, I just got to thank the family and all that. Yeah, that's about it. Whoa.
What about? No.
Maybe have that second wireless mic roaming around the room. That'd actually be pretty good.
Katie had made the reference about when she gets together with Hall of Fame stuff, if she could just put a microphone at the tables, where Larry Schimmelfinney is sitting and stuff like that, because
her and I talked about it, because I was in on that.
It really needs to be done because time goes by. So
just little things that you bring up. The color of your car is so legendary and known. The color, but you mentioned how it came about with your racing motorcycles. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's the type of stuff that.
Yeah. When you make the racing trivia, you got to have a few of those things in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We need to do a racing trivia. Things you didn't know about Nodak drivers.
I was so fond of the color yellow until my mom passed away, and then pink took over. So.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, that stock car is yellow.
Oh, it is yellow.
You do need to be parked right beside each other because they complement each other so
wearing
good.
Sunglasses at night.
The highlighters.
Oh man,
the highlighters. That's what color yours is. So
that chrome wheel on the left rear looks so good. We should have 2 chromes on for that picture. Oh, well. Andy Unlin. Unlin, get in touch with me. I've run the races up there for 4 years. All 4 years they've been ran. It's the only grass race in North Dakota, the Lansford Snowgoers.
Yeah. So
Andy,
it was a good time for sure, and
Andy,
that'd be fun to spread it out. You guys put on a great show. I mean, it's just a laid back atmosphere, and like I say, you hope that it's warm, and it was. Sleds are extremely fast, and I don't miss it.
Just because just because
so.
we're the Dirt Weekly doesn't mean we can't talk about other forms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, after a few starts, it was dirt. So, thank you, Andy. Yeah.
Oh, where are we at here on this whole deal? We'll go like this. And
I know my connection with it has been Andy Gates, just because
Mark Weiskopf?
Byron Gates, rather. I'm sorry. And because Byron and I are the same age, so. But yeah, he's cooking up there usually, and they got a big steak fry after it's over. We weren't able to stay for that. We had to come home for the football game, but right.
Ooh,
good times.
We didn't rub that in yet.
Man, you guys are tough on us. Jesus. And it got cold out, too.
Let's roll this. We need to update our video, but let's roll it.
Yeah.
Texas Red. What do we got going on? Oh, I got a black screen over here. I'm producing, ain't doing very good here. We're up on the screen anyway.
Texas Red.
Dome Talk.
Dome Talk. Because we don't have an upcoming race schedule, so we moved them
around.
Dome Talk. Before we get too far, I just want to say again, guys, I have put up a deer-proof fence. And I'm waiting for my Texas Red. I got a plot. You know, what do we want to do? Like a 5x5 plot? We'll do some rookie corn growing in my backyard
next spring.
See what we got. Because what I had this year here only got about shoulder high. I was a little bit disgusted in it. And I see what you guys got. I mean, my God, it looked like it's 7 feet tall. I want some tall corn. So
I think
set me up. Sweet
all
corn.
the deer just heard you say deer proof and they're like, challenge accepted.
Yeah, it's a 6-footer. I guess it's not proof, but yeah, they're going to have to work at it now. And I'm up against the trees on one side, so they're going to have to come in from the other side with a run to get over it, I think. So, yeah. So
any updates on the Dome Talk world? You guys kind of said that
what did
we haven't seen the
we haven't seen any rough drafts yet.
Layouts or anything.
I think Harvest must just be finishing up.
Yeah.
You know, because we know she was doing parts duty. She's been doing the combine duty.
Yeah. Sports are in full gear, so we're running around with that too. So, but as I shared, the weather's they're forecasting the white stuff late next week, so I would think that we're going to be able to slide into this pretty soon. We got to get our own Nixter in here, and
he's doing volleyball tonight. He is tied up with high school sports. He's going to have a window middle to the end of November till the beginning of December where he'll be
doing the Magicians.
Yeah,
Friday night again.
Well, that won't be too late.
Thursday night, I think they go this week because it's playoff. It's the final regular season for the playoff.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Magicians are going all the way, man.
I think so.
What'd you say? 56-0.
Yeah, to Williston. Unfortunately, Williston doesn't have. They're rebuilding their football program. But back to the Dome. I mean,
we at Nedrose know how Williston feel because that's what you did to us Friday night. We did sneak in a 1 touchdown, but it was a similar deal. We call it character building, and we've been building a lot. So
in 5 years, when we hold the North Dakota High School football state championship games at the Marketplace Dome.
Yeah.
This will be a hot topic on the Dirt Weekly.
Well, you got the Fargo Dome where the Bison play, and you got the Alaris Center where UND plays. They got it all on the east side. We need a dome.
This will be the WDA connection.
I mean,
this will be the hookup.
The Airbnb rates of renting one of our 16 condos that are going to be up for rent for that weekend will be huge.
Yeah. Wow. Exactly.
I don't think the football field in there is going to work so well with our roller coaster that's going to go across the racetrack and stuff.
Yeah, got Snoopy Land
in
there.
So we might have to think about that for a little bit because when they punt the ball from one end to the other,
we don't want the roller coaster in the way. Well, maybe they can go over the top of it. It'll be kind of a swoop in the middle there.
They got that rolling effect in the domes in the NFL. It's just a re-kick.
Kind of like watching the kids play volleyball. If it goes off the ceiling, you can still play it.
As long as it doesn't go over the net. Yep.
Right.
If the punt's in play, hold the coaster.
Yeah. We never know where this is going, and it's going.
If you're going to build this thing, it's got to be multi-purpose.
Yeah, it does. And I like your truck drivers deal there of getting some businesses in there because we need to keep the money moving. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I keep thinking small. I gotta.
The size of this thing, I'm imagining the size of this thing. When you look at the footprint of the Mall of America, when you look at the actual footprint, I don't think Nick has enough land.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Freedom Township is getting forced out.
Well, we might have to see who Nick's neighbors are. See if they're involved in this. That moves Karen down to third choice, but and it moves all of us down a hole. But we can survive that. So yeah. We need to know what Nick has here. Come on, Nick. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Got Robbie trying to call in.
I love that you have him in your phone as Knob. Dirt Weekly official Robbie Roselli in Jordan's phone is Knob.
Yeah, he must not be watching because he's still dying.
He doesn't have Facebook.
Well.
So we're secret safe calling him Knob on Facebook.
I got Knob here calling in. Yep.
Should we?
Well,
I don't think we'd get much.
Might not be rated G. So
no entertainment out of him on this deal. The Dome
talks. Now we talked about mod lights at the Dome, and I like that because again, I think we're going to have to look at this scaled down thing just to make things fit.
Mod lights, legends, slingshots.
Do they have dirt in the arena right now? Has there been a rodeo in there?
Just had a rodeo last weekend.
Well, perfect, because I'm thinking about Saturday night.
Perfect.
Well, if the champions got their cars there.
Oh, take a lap?
I think so. Why not? See how it feels.
Yeah.
Guys, we're testing this out.
Around 11 p.m.
Indoor racing.
That'd be cool. Everybody's a little.
Talk about relationships.
So yeah,
with
we're
the
gonna. Well, no, I mean,
up.
not worried about. In the all seasons.
In the arena.
I don't. That dirt ain't the right dirt. You don't want to go in there. Them race cars will get stuck in that dirt because it's so soft and because the horse. It has to be soft for the horses. So, I just the banquet. The what we're going into with the banquet right there in our Marketplace Dome. Think of what we could do there. You could have the banquet going on at the same time or right before we have a race program.
The banquet's at the Dome.
Well, when this thing is built, we're going for every event.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to physically be able to do with Jordan, Craig, and I, switching the track over from a racetrack to a football.
Of course, we talked about the 2-track thing there for a little bit too.
Yeah,
so
but when you
the
go
football
from
field and Snoopy Land,
here's the month of November, or October, November. We're going to have races. The following week, we're going to have a football game. The following week, we're going to have a banquet. And then we're going to go right back to races again in December.
And there's going to be Hustfest in there at some point, too.
Ooh. Yeah.
And somewhere in there.
We're not competing against the fair too hard here. So
a Conway Twitty impersonation contest.
I just like listening. I don't know that I sing it so well, but.
Well, in your Hall of Fame speech.
The Mel McDaniel, this was like jackpot. This is like yellow Volkswagens coming down the road.
Fellow racers, can I get some love for the Dome after your speech?
Yeah. Well,
show it with your wallets.
Ooh,
we're gonna
under.
We're gonna have to sneak it in there.
Out of all the people that are going to go up and speak at the banquet.
Have you ever seen Jimmy Fallon play that game where they got a word and they got to implement it into their conversation?
Oh, that so needs to be done.
You got to hold it up so I know what the word is. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really want to thank you for my induction into the Hall of Fame Dome.
Yeah. Dairy Queen.
If I stand up in the back with a big board with the word on it that you have to incorporate in.
No pressure for Karen, but we need this by Saturday.
Right. This Saturday.
But do they choose hard words on that Jimmy Fallon deal? Like if I choose a word like incognito, so you have to figure out incognito into your speech somewhere?
Well, they're not real hard, but it's cool how they keep talking and they rifle it in there. So every once in a while they have a hard one, but they still sneak it in there. So that is pretty cool.
For years, I used to race motorcycles, condos,
Airbnbs.
Yeah.
16 lap features. 16 lap features. 16 Airbnbs. Yeah. So God, we're getting off topic, but That could be a fun game.
So over under on how many times the Dome is mentioned on Saturday night in the speeches.
In the speeches.
Not necessarily Hall of Fame, all of the awards.
All night long?
Oh, it'd be an honor if it was mentioned by others.
It'd be honored if it mentioned by one person.
Okay. Just Dome talk once?
Well, no, it'd be an honor if one of them people out there in their speech somewhere said something about the Dome.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that you wanted Junior to bring it up at one point.
Oh, he's gonna catch wind of the Dirt Weekly, and he's bringing it up.
And he's got the funding to get this thing off the ground. We get Junior on board.
Yes.
I'm learning real quick. Junior is a businessman, so if we don't have a proper, he'll pull funding on stuff that doesn't work. We got to have the proper, if we're getting funding from Junior, it has to be laid out.
Yeah. Investor style.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Is he still tied with Budweiser? Because that's the type of pockets we need.
Yeah.
Well, Budweiser's going to be the watermelon man now.
Oh, yeah?
Ross Chastain.
Oh.
Busch. Anheuser-Busch went with Ross Chastain now.
Oh.
2024.
See? Breaking news.
And M&M's is going back. I just heard M&M's is going back on going to be Tyler Reddick's 45.
Oh.
Big news.
Breaking.
News.
Again, back to Hee-Haw. That guy would do that. Yeah. Breaking news. Had a little hat on and all that. Yeah. You got to go back and watch some YouTube stuff there. You'll know what I'm talking about.
I am willing to. We've been doing a lot of talk about betting. I'm willing to bet you've never seen an episode of Hee-Haw.
I have. I can't say I've seen the full episode. Is it the talking horse one? What's Hee-Haw?
No, that's Ed the horse.
Oh, Ed. That's Ed the horse. Which ones? I probably haven't seen Hee-Haw.
It's
I searched the world over and thought I found true love.
You met another and you were gone. Come on, buddy.
My.
Yeah, you remember. Oh, we're going to get off track. Let's go back to Dome Talk. Travis, you're still on. Travis's job, remember, when he went to the Vikings game was to tell us kind of the layout of
the Dome.
Yeah. So if he thought the track would fit and all that there. And Ridge might have fallen asleep, but if Trav, if you got something, text us something. Are we on track with still this kind of this 5th mile thinking and maybe scaled down cars?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure it looked right to him. So.
Oh, Jet Boy said, "Holy crap, boys, that's funny."
Yeah. Well, YouTube it. It'll be way cooler on that.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Probably all we got.
Thank you.
Kind of come in clean clothes for the banquet.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got my attire.
Yeah.
Dark, clean.
Yeah.
I don't wear
I'm
clean
in a
blue
suit.
jeans very often, but.
Tina's in a dress. I think my girls are in dresses. So, yeah. Jed's in a dress. No, maybe Tanya. Just seeing if you're paying attention.
Jed might be in a dress.
Craig, are you going to be able to make it?
I am. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You
Wonderful.
talk football a lot.
I know nothing about it.
He talks Ned Rose football.
But that's what I'm interested in. I think that would be neat.
Yeah.
Talk about your child that plays.
Oh, okay. Macy,
Yeah.
my youngest daughter plays football. Their season has come to an end. The whipping at Bishop Ryan on Friday was their final game. She was a JV starter. She was a varsity. She dressed for varsity. She did play a little bit earlier in the season. She didn't play the last few games. The person that she would fill in for was doing fine. So, but well, in all school sports, you learn a lot of discipline. She's a fanatic on working out, and she's doing her best to learn how to eat right. And with that said, football has been wonderful. She's been doing it since 4th grade Y ball. Pretty proud of her on that front.
Absolutely.
And going forward, she is interested in girls wrestling. So next Tuesday night, the 24th, which is also senior night for Katie, for my middle girl, for volleyball. But at any rate, they were the Delax and Minot High co-op, and we will co-op with them. Macy will be the only one, I believe, out of Ned Rose. But we'll have the first meeting, and she's going to go forward with girls wrestling. So I'm just excited for her. I know nothing about this stuff. I'm just excited that my children are interested in things, and Tina and I are just happy to support. Tina's done a wonderful job getting them involved in things at a younger age, albeit football and basketball and stuff like that. And I never did school sports, and Tina did do some school sports, so that's the family
I
we're
can hear
raising.
it now. Nick Holberg, PSP Network brings Magic City or Minot High Wrestling. Is it going to be Minot High Wrestling or DLB Wrestling?
Well, good question. I'll say Minot High.
Minot High Wrestling. Your commentator for the night, Nick Holberg. On the call, color, Jorn Boyce.
Oh, man.
Jorn, what kind of move did she make there?
I don't know, but it looked like it hurt. And I mean real bad. Her legs are pointing in all the wrong directions. Her arms in there, too. So, yeah. I don't know nothing about it, but, again, excited that they're excited for it. So,
but bravo to your daughter, just like Katie.
Yep.
In a dominant man's world.
Yeah. She's always liked football since she was young, and, we just never discouraged her from it. And, again, she had an ACL tear. And she missed her 8th grade year for an injury, but nonetheless, she's bouncing back, I think, probably stronger than ever and more determined than ever. And so we've asked her, well, Macy, where are you at for going forward next year? Because the boys keep getting bigger and girls stay about the same size, and she's staying about the same size. So. But she says, well, I want to do wrestling, and if I like wrestling, I might just be done with football so I don't get hurt for wrestling. And I thought that was a pretty grounded answer, so
yeah.
I couldn't add to that. Made sense to me. So she's our youngest, and we're just going to try to enjoy every moment we can. Our kids have done pretty good in sports, albeit we go to Ned Rose. And as I say, when you go to Ned Rose, if you go out for sports, you will get to play. So. And Peyton and Katie are the same age, so we got 2 graduating in the spring.
Isn't that fun? Peyton
and Max, I think, is 1 year older than Macy.
Yep.
So
Max is a sophomore this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Macy's a 9th grader. So
yeah, they played football against one another. One of the years that Max was still playing, he doesn't play football.
Haven't played for a while. Well.
He had his finger stepped on and broke and had to have a pin in there, and at that point in time, Max said his football career's done.
Yeah. Well,
that fella keeps getting bigger, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what Macy says. They're not 7th and 8th graders anymore.
Yep.
She's looking up, and, they look pretty
He just
big on
doesn't
the
like
field,
the
so.
physical contact. Max not a fan of that physical contact, I guess, unless he's sitting in a race car.
Well, yeah, he throws a fender in there then, so maybe a wheel and a spindle.
And what has I mentioned it to you a week or 2 back about the girl interest, and he shared with me that this is happening, and I'm hoping
we're not doing the Dirt Weekly breaking news on that. I already get my butt chewed from him.
Oh my!
I just don't want the distraction of the progression.
You don't.
Where's Jenny at on this deal? I want to know the real story. See you Saturday, Jenny. Let's catch up.
Yep, she'll give you the story. She'll give you the story.
Okay, now just to be clear, we can't do Dirt Weekly because we got internet struggles.
I never pursued getting internet brought in there, so we're just going to record the. I'll be recording the banquet for future viewers out there that missed the banquet.
So it won't be live footage,
no,
but it'll be
viewable
recorded footage in a day or 2.
It actually takes a stress off of me a little bit. Just I can just roll in there
and you as well, Jorn.
Yeah. You'd have had fun doing a Dirt Weekly beforehand, though.
Right.
But it is cool that you're broadcasting it later for family and friends of yours.
Yeah, I've got relatives out of state and stuff like that can follow up on that, so that'd be good. Mm-hmm.
Probably.
I'd say pretty big deal. I mean, a big deal to me. I was able to get in on Estevan's deal last year, but and they didn't warn me at all. So I talk about shooting from the cuff. I did. So I don't think anybody got embarrassed, and that's good. But now I have time to prepare, and now I'm nervous I'm not going to be prepared right. So. I don't know. I'm probably better off with no prep.
I
was going to say the best.
All the confidence in the world.
Some of the best speeches I've come up with, people ask me where they came from, and I just shot right from the hip.
Well, I'm going to look at you that if something obvious is missing, you're going to jump in there and say, and what about this? Yeah, that'll be important. So
that whole second microphone thing is going to be key. I have to figure that part out.
I mean, public speaking is nothing I thought I would ever do, but when it's about racing, it doesn't seem to be too bad of a deal.
Just let y'all know
drivers' meetings and whatnots.
9th grade speech class, I failed because I was scared to get in front of my fellow students and speak.
I believe that. I did not like speech class in high school at all.
You don't have that problem anymore.
All.
Either one of you don't have that problem.
No, we'll wheel off a driver's meeting and
do you know what did it for me?
Notes on the back of an envelope.
Racing. racing, simply being put in victory lane. I was fortunate enough to have some success in racing at a younger age, and you get put into that victory lane position to where you have to speak, you have to talk, and that
it does something.
It progressed.
It done something.
And you know, at the beginning, that first time you look up there, kind of like Max was when I interviewed him this year up in front of the grandstand. He looks up and he goes, "That's a lot of people." Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty soon by the time you get to where I'm at now. I'm sure you're nervous your first time down there doing victory lane at Nodak, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now it's I look up there, I don't even see any people.
You don't have a senior moment, say the wrong word and meant something else, because those come out every once in a while. John would always do the banquets, and I always thought, man, how do you do that? I mean, you're rattling along, and sometimes he'd go down some rabbit holes that weren't always public, but we all had a good time. We all wondered what he was going to say, and so the good old days, they were something. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to follow up with a little post-banquet updates. We'll have updates on elections.
Yeah, roll in next week. We'll do one more next week. We might take a couple weeks off after that to kind of organize who we're going to have in here, but we'll roll next week. We'll have to get together. I think I'm bowling somewhere for the Mandan banquet. I think we're going somewhere. The next 3 weekends, I believe we have events that we have to go to.
Okay.
So I might not be able to make Estevan's. I'll look at the deal.
Yeah. Tina and I and Adam are going to go up to Estevan, it looks like, so we'll be able to report on that. So that'll be fun.
Do they have an award in Estevan for an old decrepit has-been, got back in a car and won a race award?
It's possible. I'm going to be checking in with Lynn here pretty soon, so I'll see if I need to, who's all the people that I need to get a hold of. So
Trevor usually does that, doesn't he? The banquet up in Estevan.
He MCs it. Yep.
Yeah.
Like John, you're never for sure what he's going to talk about, so you got to be on your toes paying attention.
I took in one of those one year. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Up in Estevan?
You were at Estevan.
And Trevor
is nice.
He's funny, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Don't let him catch you looking away. He'll draw you right back. So, yep. Good times.
Yeah. So with that, that's a wrap on the show. I wish we had that guy that did the rap. Do you listen to KFAN at all?
Out of Minneapolis, KFAN? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, they got the rap, the 9 to noon rap. That's a beautiful ending to a show. We need that. But
it's not on KCJB. I'm out.
Yeah.
So
you'll have to listen to it.
You're talking Paul Allen's show.
Yep. Yeah. So for Jordan, for Craig, Brandon Beater, thanks for tuning in and sticking out the 2+ hours.
See you at the banquet.
See you hopefully at the banquet or at the elections. Don't be afraid to come to the elections.
All righty.